You're listening to Kick-Off, the Champions League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. We're counting down to kick-off here between Newcastle and Barcelona at St James's Park, then in the Champions League. It's Natalie Sawyer here, alongside the former Watford striker Troy Deeney and Jim Proudfoot as well. Listen to the crowd as they gear up for kick-off, which is just minutes away. More tifos have been unveiled. In front of me now, the biggest magpie tifo I've ever seen before in my life, where there's a little nod in the corner to that fantastic night back in 1997 when Faustino Asprilla scored that hat-trick to help Newcastle to that 3-2 win over Barcelona, the first time they'd ever played each other, and also a nod to Keith Gillespie as well, who was instrumental in that victory as well. Troy Deeney, if I come to you... No? It's so loud, he can't hear me.
Sorry, I lost my headphones for about 3 seconds there.
It was blown off by the flames and by the spirit and everything. What can a night like this do for those Newcastle players?
I just think there's no need for huddles, there's no need for team talks. If as a player you can't get up for this, you're in the wrong game. This is all about controlling your emotions today. Eddie will be trying to bring it down, bring the intensity down. I was here when they played Liverpool and it was an exceptional night. They went down to 10 men and they battled and they came for it. I do worry about Guimaraes because he is the orchestra, not only on the pitch but of this place. And if he feels he gets a little bit flat, does he dive in a little bit recklessly and go after it? But for today, this is a wonderful atmosphere.
Well, the teams are making their way out. So this game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. And that iconic Champions League music is back here at St James's Park. It's what the fans have been wanting for a number of years, since they last tasted it and where it ended in the group stage. They will hope to go better this time around. It is a Champions League double on Talksport tonight. Over on Talksport 2 right now, they're bringing you commentary of Manchester City versus Napoli. Right here, though, it is another blockbuster of an evening of Champions League football on Talksport as the mighty Barcelona are in town, or should that be in tune, as they take on Eddie Howe's Newcastle United. Let's just sample that atmosphere for a moment. It really is spine-tingling. Right, let's hand you over to your commentary team then. The former Watford striker Troy Deeney is alongside your match commentator, Jim Proudfoot.
Natalie, thank you, and a very good evening to you. Welcome to St James Park, one of the great footballing cathedrals perched on the hill on the north side of Newcastle upon Tyne. Its site makes it an imposing feature of the skyline, visible for miles, giving the football club an all-encompassing omnipresence in a city where to so many everything is black and white. There are no shades of grey as top-class continental football returns to Tyneside. Through the dark years, they craved nights like this, nights that invariably felt so far away when the dream of being Champions League regulars seemed fanciful. Now, they've qualified for a second year in 3, something they've never managed before. But if the aim is to make matches against Europe's elite part of the furniture right now, they still come round with a sense of wonder and aura that's all the more special for those years of struggle. And what an opening fixture this is. 5-time European champions Barcelona, and everything this fixture entails to Geordies of a certain age. If you're a Newcastle fan and you don't remember Faustino Asprilla putting Barca to the sword, you've been regaled with the stories 100 times. It is one of the most famous individual performances that anyone in the black and white has ever produced. And 28 years on, almost to the day, Tino's back on the tune. But who, the current crop, can take up his mantle in Mag's history? This is how the two teams line up. Hope in goal. Trippier, Sherburn and Livramento. Tonali, Guimaraes and Jolinton. Alanga, Gordon and Barnes. For Barcelona, Joan Garcia, Koundé, Araujo, Kubasi and Gerard Martin. De Jong, Fermin Lopez and Pedri. Rafinha, Lewandowski and Rashford. And tonight's referee is Glenn Nyberg from Sweden. Newcastle in the famous black and white striped shirts. Barcelona in their change kit tonight of pinky orange. Araujo just making his way down to the near side, and just a few last-minute adjustments for Anthony Gordon. Well, I did say the Alice band's in place, all right, but his boot isn't.
No, they've made him change his socks. His socks were cut too high, so they made him change his socks. And Jason Tyndall just there helping him out there, being a real good coach. But I'm sure that wasn't part of the pre-press conversation.
Well, listen to this roar. A city that lives and breathes it, where the football takes precedence above everything else. Tonight, it's one of the biggest games the Toon has seen for years. In the context of the last 20 years, just rubbing shoulders with Barcelona is victory in itself. But can Newcastle draw on the spirit of Asprilla and 97 to beat Barca for the first time since Tino's most famous hour? Newcastle will be kicking up the hill in the first half. Barca kicking from left to right as we look at it towards the Gallagher end. And they've got us underway with a high ball that's played forward, headed on by Rashford, looking for Lewandowski. Newcastle can clear with a high up and under from Guimaraes that is returned on halfway by Araujo. Barcelona captain Guimaraes able to stick his foot on the ball. Lay it back here for Fabian Schär. Ball over the top from him is just a little bit too long for the run of Harvey Barnes. Should be mopped up easily enough at the back by Jules Koundé. Here's the pressure on the goalkeeper. Electrifying press from the Newcastle front two. And Joan Garcia's clearance was a poor one. Then Barnes is eased down inside the penalty area. And those on the Leeds' end thought it was a penalty. Barnes himself didn't. He was straight back up on his feet. That's, though, the Newcastle game plan in microcosm, Troy Deeney.
100%. But the one worrying thing there for Barcelona is Garcia took an age on the ball. It's like he didn't know Harvey Barnes was going to double press. I believe this is the weakness for Barcelona, this back five. They're young, they're inexperienced, and the press, they're not used to that in Spanish football as well. It's not as intense as it is in the UK. So I'm expecting Newcastle to really identify that, get after this team, spin them as many times as they can, but then when they get an opportunity to play, it'll all be in Barcelona's half.
And it goes without saying that tempo is going to be so important, a real key feature. Here's Rafinha, who's scored in every game he's ever played here at St James's Park, setting up for Min Lopez, and he has drilled that maybe 25 yards wide. Yeah, just unfortunately hit the right foot, left foot before he shoots with his left. But again, just in the build-up to that, it's a wonderful pocket he picks up between Tonali and Guimaraes, gets it on the half-turn and plays it instantly out to Rafinha. They're just so quick, so slick with his movement. They're going to have to worry about him. I really, really like watching him play, Jim. 2 Champions League ties have already finished. Bruges beat Monaco 4-1 with 3 goals in 10 minutes coming up to half-time. And Copenhagen and Leverkusen drew 2 each with 3 of those 4 goals in the last 8 minutes in Denmark tonight. Manchester City against Napoli underway live right now over on Talksport 2. And we'll keep you updated with Eintracht Frankfurt against Galatasaray, Sporting against Kairat. This one is 0-0. 2.5 minutes in, and a free kick that Kieran Trippier will take for Newcastle near the edge of the centre circle. First chance for Newcastle from a set piece. It's just flighted forward. Dan Burn, the inevitable target, and he's going to get there. Tucked it inside the box. Araujo with the clearance. It's much more up than out, but Barca will be able to bring it under control with Rashford. He can't find a way past Sandro Tonali over on the far touchline. He puts it out of play for a throw that'll be taken by Barca inside Newcastle territory. 3 minutes gone, 0-0. Great start for the Toon.
Excellent start for the Toon, Jim. I think that's another area that we haven't spoke about. Just the height difference that Newcastle have from set pieces, and that will and that want to go and head it. Definitely an area from corners, but even from just inside Barcelona's half, they've showed they're going to put balls into the box and make this Barcelona team face their own goal as many times as they can. It's a real key one for Newcastle, like keeping the interest of this fan base. They don't want it to ever go quiet. So whether that be a tackle, a ball down the side that somebody chases, they're just going to have to keep this fan base for 90 minutes, keep fanning the flames, and this is doing it again.
It's back to the goalkeeper, and again it's panic-stricken. Did he not learn his lesson the first time? It's gone out for a throw to Barca over on that far side. They laid it back to Joan Garcia, who's making his European debut tonight after his summer move from Espanyol. And he wanted a second touch. He hasn't got time for that second touch with Gordon and Barnes chasing him.
Absolutely not. But one interesting play that Barca do, they keep Rafinha or the winger on the opposite high and wide, and that's the ball there from Rafinha that they got to look at. He just plays into Rafinha in his own half, and first time he's trying to find Marcus Rashford. So just keep an eye out for that, Jim, as it develops. While Newcastle's press is great, if they get out, it's a foot race on the opposite side, and I think they're allowing Livramento to go in. So if they get it wrong, Newcastle, it will be Rafinha versus Dan Burn.
And Rafinha has it now. Turns inside, shown inside by Livramento. That was Guimaraes that came back after Tonali had been beaten. The Brazilian is able to poke the ball forward. Araujo wins it back. Livramento with a touch. Slightly heavy touch, but he had time just to survey his options around him. He's laid it forward for Kieran Trippier. Trippier out towards the right-hand side for Anthony Elanga. Elanga plays it in, and it's a miss kick from Gordon coming to meet it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Just got there a fraction early. And he's ended up flicking it with his trailing foot, and he couldn't get any kind of decent contact on it at all. But that was the first time that Elanga got the ball in a high wide position. He did his part. It was quite brilliant, but Gordon couldn't find the finish.
Excellent play there from Elanga. Goes past Martin with ease. That's the first bit of sign that Newcastle, when they get an opportunity, give it to
down the right-hand side, goes
ball in. And the only problem with playing a winger up front is that's a striker's finish there that just needs to come on and just pass it into the corner. Unfortunately for Gordon and for Newcastle, just missed his kick. It comes out the other side. But again, excellent from Newcastle, just penning back this Barcelona team. I wonder if Barcelona are thinking, we knew they were going to press, but I didn't think they'd be this good and this quick.
Well, Newcastle have clearly identified Joan Garcia as a player, a goalkeeper that's not particularly confident with the ball at his feet. I think the way that he has approached the game in the opening 5 minutes, twice wanting to take 2 touches, that they have been caught cold by the intensity of this Newcastle press.
Yeah, 100%. But even when they go out to fullbacks, it's like they're not used to being pressed this high up the pitch.
Guimaraes rolls it for a big chance for Harvey Barnes. It's wide. Wouldn't have counted anyway. Flag is up.
Great play from Guimaraes. Turns the ball over, drives at the heart of the back 4, and just a little slip ball in. We're just watching a replay here. Oh, he's just offside, Harvey Barnes. Just goes a little early, but the worry for me, try to dink it, just finish it, just put the ball in the back of the net, and then they can come back and check whether it's offside. Worried nowadays with forward players, they always try and make the finish look good. The best finish is the one that goes in the net. Doesn't matter how it gets there. Just go in with a bit more conviction.
Those are the thoughts of Troy Deeney. We're 7 minutes in here on Talksport. Electrifying night on Tyneside. 0-0. And again, the Newcastle press has got possession back in a very high area. It was Elanga that time. Ball played back towards Guimaraes on the edge of the box. Didn't get there. Trippier, though, wins the throw off Rashford. It's a good battle, that. Kieran Trippier against Marcus Rashford. 2 men who know each other so well. Trippier, of course, who played out in Spain for a bit. He actually won 3 of his last 4 games against Barcelona when he was playing for Atletico. So he won't be fazed by what he's facing tonight. Here's Nick Pope, 100th Newcastle game for him this evening. Long ball forward. Araujo heads it. Joelinton backpedaling, does really well to bring that down on his chest, and still off balance. Flick a ball to his left for Livramento. Tonali tried to roll it round the side of Koundé. And it goes out of play for a throw to Newcastle. 0-0, 8 minutes gone. The worry for Eddie Howe at the moment will be that Newcastle is so much on top. They've got to make the most of this advantage. Yeah, 100%. But now what they're doing, they're settling, and they force Barcelona to back up. Barnes again, Tonali back for Barnes, left-hand side of the penalty area. Just testing Joan Garcia's handling with a low skidder towards the far post, hoping that the goalkeeper tipped it into the path of Gordon. He didn't, and it remains 0-0. It's great play again. Harvey Barnes just with a 1-2 with Tonali on the edge of the box. I actually think he's gone with the wrong option there. Oh, really good for Marcus. He's turned Trippier, and now he's got plenty of green grass to run into. Running down the hill towards Cher. He's inside the box, a little step over, and he's fired it wide. That bit
that little passage of play might encapsulate Marcus Rashford as a whole. As that ball gets played into him on the edge of the halfway line, he lets it run through his legs, sails Kieran Trippier, sends him to the shops. He's running, he's direct, he gets into the edge of the 18-yard box. When we want him to be calm, show that real quality, little step over and drags it. It doesn't even go inside the 6-yard box, I don't think. It looks like he hits it with his heel. It's really, really poor. And if he wants to be the calibre of player that we all know he can be, which in my opinion on his day he's right up there with the very, very best, he has to get that more consistently in his game.
Well, he was 8 yards out, the angle wasn't particularly tight, and he missed the side netting, not just the near post.
Yeah, it's poor, but again, let's not take away from the start. That's the bit what you were just speaking to before we had to cut for Barnes. Newcastle have been on top, but Barcelona have those special players in the team that can spin the game on its head. You don't want to give them too many chances. That was really simple there. Kieran Trippier got a little bit too excited, jumped early, got sold a dummy, and then they're in at the back line, 3v3. If Marcus Rashford would have had a bit more quality, a bit more pizzazz in that final area, it's probably 1-0 Barcelona, and we're going, they don't deserve that, but that's the quality when you play the Champions League.
This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. 0-0 through 10 frenetic minutes. Now Pedri laying it out towards Rafinha inside the penalty area and passes it past Byrne, but too far ahead of Koundé, the right back making his way forward, and it's an easy one for Nick Pope to be able to gather. Barca, who come into this having lost only 9 games out of the 64 that Hansi Flick has been their manager for. Newcastle, for their part, only 1 win in the last 6 games in League and Cup. Araujo does well. Deals with the threat of Gordon and Elanga, heads the ball back for his goalkeeper, who just drops the ball by the penalty spot and now will play it out towards Koundé.
That little bit there when it came into Rafinha is the bit of Dan Bird's game which has gone to the next level. He could have easily ran in and tried to get really close, but instead he stands, he holds his position, and he allows for Koundé to run behind him. So once Koundé runs behind him, he thinks, I can't get it, he now shifts his position, Rafinha plays the pass, and that's why it goes through. Dan Burn of old, especially would have been at Brighton, at Fulham, would have jumped, would have got in there, tried to be a bit too easy, would have made it a simpler pass for Rafinha, but excellent play from him. He's choosing when to go, when to back off. Listen, we know Dan Burn isn't the quickest, that's not being disrespectful to him, but he's one of the smartest now. He knows when to go, when not to go.
Livramento wins an aerial battle against Koundé and just got caught on the back of the head as he did so. The referee realises now and stops play. About 30 seconds before that, Lewandowski had come back and dealt with the ball on the edge of his own penalty area, and then he got caught on the Achilles and was down for a couple of minutes as well.
There was a great moment, Jim, just in the build-up there while you was talking. Newcastle player down his left-hand side. It goes into Livramento. He plays inside to Joe Linton. And Joe Linton took a bad touch, but that high line of Barcelona was right up, and it literally just needed a little chip over the top, and it was a foot race between Elanga, Gordon and Barnes against the back four of Barcelona. And Eddie Howe just behind was saying, that's it, that's the one. So clearly they've worked on that. Something to keep an eye on as this game develops, but I think Newcastle will be thinking, let's play a few passes short, bring them in, and then let's make it a foot race over 30 yards. And again, I just think the way that Elanga went past Martin earlier on, just play down his side where you can.
Hansi Flick has just caught Frenkie de Jong over. Is having a word with him. Maybe just try to slightly adjust the balance of things in the midfield. De Jong the deepest of the three, and then Pedri playing in a sort of a half and half position with Firmino ahead of him at 10. Livramento's okay. He's received treatment for that bang that he got to the back of the head in an aerial challenge with Koundé. He's going to be allowed back on. Joelinton had just dropped in at right back for a moment, but Livramento just indicating to Joelinton he was okay. He was going to be allowed straight back on, so Joelinton pushed forward into midfield. 13 minutes gone here on Talksport. Newcastle winning that famous game inspired by Asprilla back in 1997. They have met Barcelona 3 times since and lost them all. Barca with a really good record against English opposition over the years, although Newcastle, for their part, have won their last 3 against teams from Spain. Koundé with a miscue high up and under towards the edge of his own penalty area. Kubasi comes out, wins it twice. Oh, played forward, almost managed to get it out towards Elanga. Now Trippier will come forward. He's chipped it inside the penalty area. Barnes peeling away at the far post, has got it. Trying to take on Koundé. Wins a corner. The slightly miscued cross, but Koundé's towed it behind and out for the first corner of the night.
Yeah, I think Trips has chose the wrong decision there. As it breaks to him, it's a really good pass from Anthony Gordon into Elanga. He tries to take it into his stride. Good defending. He cuts in on his right foot, off his right foot to his left. I think he has to get the shot away. He then chipped it to the back post, and to be fair, Harvey Barnes has worked something, but they were never going to score at that moment. I would have expected Trippier to take a touch and then just get the shot off and see if he can test this young goalkeeper in Garcia.
Galatasaray lead in Germany away to Eintracht Frankfurt. City Napoli 0-0 over on Talksport 2 right now, as again we bring you a choice of listening here at St James's Park's 0-0. Trippier takes the corner short, gets it back from Gordon. Rafinha clears, but only after it's gone back over the line and out of play for a corner. Newcastle will hope that that's the least effective corner that they have tonight. It was probably one that worked well in training. The execution wasn't quite there, but they've got another opportunity, and I think this time it will go directly inside that box. Yeah, just wanted to get a little 1-2 there with Anthony Gordon, bring out the first postman and allow Big Dan Bird to attack it, but unfortunately the set from Gordon wasn't quick enough. Has gone short this time towards the edge of the penalty area for Tonali. Back for Trippier again, it's in deep, and Joan Garcia got there. Guimaraes was making a run across the face of the goalkeeper, but the ball was too high for him, and Garcia could catch it. Still 0-0 with 15 minutes gone on Talksport.
As soon as they play the short, Rafinha in that hole goes sprinting out to try and help them make it a 2, so they empty the front post space. And that's what Newcastle have clearly worked out. A little short, drags him out, and then attack the space and hope that their attacking players get there early. Guimaraes was there, but a little bit too high, as you said, Jim.
Now Araujo try to invite the press. Breeze past Joelinton and clips the ball out towards Marcus Rashford on the Barcelona left. Back he goes to Kubasi, still only 18, but already 7 caps for Spain behind him. Now out towards Koundé. Koundé laying it back for the blonde-haired Dutchman De Jong, who'd been a doubt for this game because of a hip problem, but fit enough to play. Araujo, a white bandage around his right wrist, Keith Lemon style. For the only mention he gets tonight. The ball is over on the Barca left again. Rashford just trying to divert it in towards the edge of the penalty area. Couldn't find Lewandowski, and it's cleared by Cher. Back he goes for De Jong again. De Jong parallel the halfway, just knocks the ball square. Now to Araujo. Barca stringing the passes together. They're trying to invite the Newcastle press this time. Livramento obliges. Koundé's turned elegantly away from him to find Rafinha in space, right in front of Eddie Howe. He clips it forward, but the former Leeds man's ball is easily knocked away by the diving header from Cher. Barca have a player down in the heart of the midfield. It's Kubasi. Now they look for Rafinha with the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and Burns sliding in on the edge of the D did well to knock that away. Lewandowski wins a 50-50 in the air against Livramento, and Newcastle's current Tino is forced to chase out and put the pressure on Rafinha. It's worked back by Barcelona towards De Jong. This is their best spell of passing football in the game so far, forcing Newcastle back inside their own half. Frenkie de Jong inside the centre circle, turns one way and then the other, works the ball forward into the feet of Rashford. Rashford who scored 5 goals against Newcastle in his career. Now to Frenkie de Jong. De Jong back towards halfway again, play down the inside left channel for Rashford. Probably about 20 or 30 passes in this Barcelona move. They're not really making too much headway. Pedri, though, the good ball between the lines, can find Fermin Lopez. Rafinha near the corner of the penalty area. Left-footed in, swinging delivery. Lewandowski going up for it. He's headed it wide. And Koundé coming onto the rebound has blasted high and wide. Good ball inside the penalty area, that, and the defending good enough to stop Lewandowski having a clean header on it.
I think it's a really good ball from Rafinha. It's actually Nick Pope gets a little hand on it because Lewandowski nicks it. But I think that's where Nick Pope, for me, is the best English goalkeeper we've got. Commands his area really well, knows where to come, knows where to sit off. But as you say, they're really, really good play from Barcelona, keeping the ball 20, 30 passes. And Newcastle were really calm in that low block. They kept it going. But again, that man who I spoke about before, Lopez, just picks a lovely pocket. And if you don't put pressure on De Jong, they'll find, and Pedri, they'll find those passes, and once they get him on the half turn, it's real trouble because they've got that quality. So again, a real good example of what Barcelona could do, but Newcastle will be happy and proud that they can keep it at distance, and if it's got to be crosses, they can handle most of them.
Frankie de Jong has just given a free kick away. He wasn't happy with the decision, and immediately Hansi Flick just told him to calm down. It's only a free kick conceded on halfway. He thought that he'd won it fairly with a shoulder barge against Joelinton. No, the Swedish referee thought otherwise. Bruno Guimaraes out on the Newcastle right has won a throw that Trippier's going to come forward to take. Home form's been a little bit patchy here. I mean, Newcastle were excellent in that defeat to Liverpool. But that one of 2 defeats that Newcastle have suffered here in their last 3 matches at St James Park. We've got another free kick here. This one is almost midway inside the Barcelona half as Gordon is fouled. Barcelona just retreating. Araujo throws the ball back. And Trippier retrieves it, throws it forward for Elanga, and again it's the cue for Dan Burn to make his way forward, for Cher to make his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Joelinton, another 6-footer who's waiting for the right delivery if it can come. Elanga and Trippier, the 2 players that are standing over this. Still 0-0 Man City Napoli over on Talksport 2. 0-0 here as well, with 20 minutes gone past in the blink of an eye.
Don't be surprised if they don't work something here, Jim. 5 behind the ball looks a bit different for this Newcastle team.
In from Trippier towards the edge of the penalty area. Didn't get the height that he wanted. Barnes heads it back. Oh, it's a really poor header. And now Rashford will chase, but Trippier comes back and gets there to bail Livramento out. He was caught by Rashford. It's a free kick to Newcastle. But that was a poor touch from Barnes. Just a back header, a blind back header towards Livramento. Didn't put enough on it. And Rashford had read it, but couldn't make as much headway as he wanted.
Really weird set piece there from Newcastle. 5 behind the ball as they whipped it in. It looked like they were going to play something. They don't, and they still get done on the counter-attack. It's 5v2 in their favour. Really strange one, that. I think Jason Tindall won't be too happy down below us with how that played out.
Tonali has had a really good start of this season. Taking this free kick for Newcastle. Very, very deep. Punting it forward towards Dan Burn. Easily dealt with by Araujo. Now Barca will turn it forward again, and Tonali finds himself as the last man back up against Lewandowski. And on your head, Troy. No, not quite. But the clearance was good enough from Sandro Tonali. You're listening to Newcastle Barcelona in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Now we're midway through the first half. Burn with a clearance. Livramento hooking it back in. Guimaraes flicking it on. Tonali out towards Elanga. And he's up against Gerard Martin again. Travelling with pace inside the penalty area. Martin got his angles right that time. Effects the block. And Hansi Flick gives him a very visible round of applause. Trippier does well to deal with a long ball that was played down his touchline for Rashford to chase. Barca calming things down with Kubasi going back for goalkeeper Joan Garcia, who again wants a second touch. The difference being this time he's got time for it. And a third, and a fourth.
Look how high Livramento is. The press from Newcastle is amazing, forcing Barcelona to go long.
But when they do go long, Newcastle have lost their defensive shape. It's with Rashford. Rashford inside the Newcastle penalty area. Clever little reverse. It's played. Oh, Joelinton's touch. Went back towards the edge of his 6-yard box. He cleared before Fermin Lopez could get there. But that clearance doesn't find touch. And Rashford will be able to pick it up. Pedri, de Jong. Now played back again for Kubasi. To Araujo. Newcastle playing with such a high-paced intensity in the opening 15 minutes. Maybe just forced to have a little breather now. And Barcelona have been on top for the last 3 or 4. Trippier's going to be able to clear this time, though. Down the touchline for Guimaraes. Gordon drops back, trying to get himself back onside. But the run from Elanga was from an onside position. Barnes is in the middle, sliding in. And the goalkeeper saved it at the near post, kicking it away for a corner.
Wow, what pace from Elanga there. From deep, lovely ball over the top on that halfway line, like we spoke about. Absolutely ran past everybody. So quick, so decisive. What a ball across the 18-yard box. For me, Harvey Barnes has got to do better with that. He's concentrating on hitting the target. Probably should score. If you ask me, if he gets that again, he'd expect to score.
Well, he's made 2 previous Champions League appearances, Harvey Barnes, both as a sub. One for less than 9 years ago, one in Newcastle's run a couple of years ago. Just in need of a goal. He's gone 10 without one. There's been a red card in the game over on Talksport 2, incidentally. Giovanni Di Lorenzo has been sent off, originally shown a yellow card. VAR's upgraded it to red. It's still 0-0 Man City Napoli, but the Neapolitans are down to 10 men live over on Talksport 2. 24 gone, it's 0-0 here at St James's Park. Ball headed away, Cher trying to turn it goal bound. Pedri stayed down injured inside his own penalty area. Barca laid a ball upfield for Rafinha to chase. There were 3 in black and white around him. But Pedri's okay, he's back on his feet. Free kick to Barca on the edge of their own box. 0-0 here. We've talked about the fact that Newcastle started with a very definite game plan to put the pressure on that back line and press. Now in the last 5 or 6 minutes they've dropped off. They've tried to draw Barcelona onto them, but that means that the high Barcelona line is coming deeper and deeper as the ball is played forward towards Rafinha here. Rafinha getting to the byline, wins the corner off Livramento. But what it's doing in condensing the play back down towards the Gallagher end, it creates even more space for Newcastle to try and exploit, as they did on the counter a few moments ago.
Yeah, but again, I was here, and I don't want to put a curse on it. I was here for the Liverpool game where Newcastle started excellently. They dropped off for 3 or 4 minutes just to catch their breath. Bang, Gravenberch scores. And it just gets that same feeling again. It's really hard to do this same type of level of energy for 90 minutes. So Newcastle need to ride out these next 5 minutes.
Barca's first corner, and it's going to be taken by Rafinha. It's hit him really deep towards the far post, headed by Cher out of the penalty area. Barca pick up the loose ball. Rashford's got it, he's 35 yards out, poor ball from him. Livramento got there ahead of Rafinha, and then Tino's touch a little bit heavy. Rashford comes back and has fouled him. Leans over his international teammate to apologise, but he knew exactly what he was doing there, curtailing the counter-attack. And it's a free kick to Newcastle.
It's not a foul. It's not a foul, it's a throw-in. It's a great tackle. I'm going to give him so much credit. Great reaction from Marcus Rashford. It's a poor ball, sprints across the pitch. He makes a tackle, hits the ball off against Livramento. Livramento goes down with how hard he hit the floor, but it's a great play for Marcus Rashford defensively, and it's Barcelona ball.
Yeah, I did him a disservice. Livramento's back on his feet. Just left hand to the rib cage. He's making his way over here. He's okay, doesn't need any treatment. Play will resume with a throw which Jules Koundé, former Europa League winner in his Sevilla days, will take. Eventually launched down the line. Byrne heads it back for Newcastle. Livramento under immediate pressure from Fermin Lopez has been fouled.
They don't rush, do they, Barcelona, on anything? They play at their tempo, do it their way. The manager is obviously in a wonderful, wonderful position. Just so confident in the way that he plays. I think Newcastle need to just see these next 3 or 4 minutes out with the ball. Try and win some fouls like they just did here from Tonali. Keep it low, make this Barcelona team come, and then spin the ball around the side again.
Tonali's just been fouled. Joelinton was glad that he did, because Tonali had laid the ball off to the Brazilian before he was caught. Joelinton gave it away. That could have been dangerous, but the referee giving the free kick for the foul on the Italian. Newcastle very grateful for it. Gordon's touch a little bit heavy. Fermin Lopez is ratting around. Byrne wins it back. Cher clears. Oh, good ball. Some 50 yards forward. Then Joelinton forward. And it goes through to the goalkeeper. Joan Garcia is able to pick it up. 0-0.
Poor, wasn't it, from Joelinton? Great ball from Cher. Poor from Joelinton. Just taps it around the corner instead of wrapping it in. Goes all the way through to the goalkeeper, but again on that top line it's 3v3, and I've backed Newcastle every single time.
28 gone, it's 0-0, and a free kick is given Barca's way over on the far touchline, and a yellow card is shown to Joelinton for the foul. First player to have his name taken tonight. It's his second yellow card of the season. Incidentally, in that Man City Napoli game, I told you that Di Lorenzo was sent off, so Conte needed to make a tactical adjustment. He took Kevin De Bruyne off. Oh. And by all accounts, the Belgian was a little bit surprised to see that it was his number that came up.
Yeah, he's had a great start though, hasn't he, for for Napoli. I think maybe that, just without being there, would probably be take him off, add some more legs in there. I know it's going to be a difficult game without the ball now, so unfortunately for Kevin, it happens to the best of us, mate. You get dragged at sometimes when that happens.
Needs must. 28 minutes gone. 0-0 here at St James's Park. Newcastle with the better of the chances. Barnes forcing a save out of Joan Garcia, who did really well to kick it away at the near post. Gordon missing a good opportunity very early in the game with a shot, a cross from Elanga that he didn't really get hold of. Counter-attack could be on at the other end here, in towards Rafinha. Byrne heads it away. Now it'll be played for by Livramento. Now Rafinha's got it. Rafinha midway inside the Newcastle half. He's given it away to Trippier. Guimaraes out to Elanga. Elanga making his way forward down the right-hand side. Was Gordon caught off the ball. Play goes on. Barnes couldn't get to the cross. He goes back out to Elanga, though, from Koundé's clearance. He's laid it off to Guimaraes on the edge of the penalty area. Little ball flicked out towards Elanga. Stands it up. Araujo heads it away. And he's just been able to get it clear of Tonali on the edge of the penalty area. Back in this time from Barnes. Joan Garcia comes to the edge of his 6-yard box. Good handling. Makes the save. 0-0.
Elanga again down that right-hand side, offers so much with his pace. They can't get there. A little bit surprised the referee did call the foul on Gordon in the middle there, because he had to slow it up, because his foul there from Araujo would have got him in.
Now at the other end, Rashford has it, and Rafinha unmarked for the moment inside the penalty area, but Rashford couldn't get past Trippier to deliver a cross. And Kieran Trippier stands firm. Really good defending. Trippier then thought he was fouled. Pedri has picked up the loose ball on the edge of the Newcastle box. He's laid it back for Frenkie de Jong. Ball inside the penalty area. Rafinha with the header. Didn't get enough on it. Under pressure from Byrne and Livramento. And it's a glancing blow off his forehead that goes wide.
Yeah, Kieran Trippier just down at the moment. I think he had to give everything there to try and catch up with Marcus Rashford. Great ball in on that last bit there from Marcus, but wonderful defending from Livramento. Just runs Rafinha under the ball, makes it difficult for the Brazilian to get his head on it. But again, Newcastle just need to take a breather. I think on the balance of this first half, they'll feel that they should probably have a goal, at least have a few more better chances. But it's just that clinical edge, and maybe that's where tonight Avisa would have done really well for them. Having Gordon on the left, having Avisa through the middle. He's got the pace, but he's got that natural instinct to score, and I think at the moment that's the only bit that's lacking.
Yeah, it could be another month before Newcastle fans see Visser in the black and white. He's got a knee problem at the moment that he picked up on international duty. Here's Koundé coming forward over halfway into Frenkie de Jong, who's waved up to his feet by Cher after the challenge. But the referee says it was a foul on Lewandowski, and it's a free kick that Barcelona will take inside Newcastle territory again, as Cher will be spoken to.
I don't think that's a foul. I think as a striker you're hoping you get those as fouls, but never normally get them. I just think the more I'm watching this Barcelona team, Jim, and I don't know what your impression is, they're just taken by surprise by the physicality, the intensity that Newcastle play. I don't think they get this in La Liga. I really don't.
Well, that is certainly the case. Slowly try to acclimatise to it. Frenkie de Jong will play the ball to the left-hand side of the Newcastle box. It's headed away, and then Jolinton gets it further clear. The retreating Kubasi, such an elegant centre-half, has brought the ball under control. Pedri with a nice touch, then gets it back again from Koundé, and then Pedri put under pressure, but Jolinton couldn't win it back. And then Frenkie de Jong will get it, and he siphoned it out of play because Rashford is down. It's not Rashford, I beg your pardon. Over on that far side, they've got Araujo down, injured inside the Newcastle box.
He's took a little elbow from Trippier, and again, it's nothing that makes you stay down. I just don't think they're used to this physicality. I think when Barcelona roll into town, other than playing against Atletico and Real Madrid, I think it's very much that you back off and you hope to survive in the games. This is the difference for me in the Premier League and La Liga. When you come to the Premier League, it doesn't matter if you're playing Burnley, it doesn't matter if you're playing Liverpool, you're going to get a physical battle. Then the quality comes out on top, and I think Barcelona and their players just struggling a little bit as it comes to 33 minutes into this game.
He's still goalless though. We've got more live football coming up for you over the course of the weekend, of course. The small matter of the Merseyside derby at Anfield on Saturday, 11 o'clock the build-up for a 12:30 kickoff. Liverpool-Everton. The same time, the M69 derby between Leicester and Coventry is over on Talksport 2. Troy's at West Ham on Saturday afternoon. Game day live at 2:30 with the award-winning Adrian Durham. Sheffield United Charlton, our live championship game at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And then the West London derby, Fulham Brentford, an 8 o'clock kickoff. Exclusive to TalkSport on Saturday night from Craven Cottage. And more of the same on Sunday, including the WSL clash between Manchester United and Arsenal, kicking off at 2:50 on TalkSport 2. Frankie de Jong's got possession here for Barcelona. Kubasi, dark head, thick set centre half, plays the ball out towards Rashford, who immediately knocks it back for Frankie de Jong. Now to Kubasi again. De Jong maintaining possession, square to Pedri. Newcastle backing off. Clever flick from Firmine, gets it back, couldn't find Rafinha, can't find Lewandowski. Shot blocked immediately at the source of danger there by Cher. And Barcelona get it back out of Rashford. Ball inside the penalty area. Retreating back header from Cher. Lewandowski coming in the far post. An acrobatic volley that missed the target. Flies out towards the far touchline. Barcelona come again with De Jong. De Jong inside the penalty area. Rafinha couldn't get there. Burn sorted that. Now a right-footed ball played in. Lewandowski digging out a left-footed shot. That's hit Burn. Left-footed one back from Rafinha into the side netting. And Newcastle survive.
And survive is the word. Bodies on the line. Cher, Burn, Trippier right at the end there. But how good are this Barcelona team? How calm are they in and around the box? 25 yards out. Would see players shooting, lashing at it. They play the extra pass. They play the extra pass on top of that if they need to. Really, really good, efficient play. But great defending from Newcastle.
Have scored Barca in each of their last 32 games in League and Cup. Actually, in the Champions League, their record's arguably more impressive because in 10 of the last 13 matches they played in this competition, they've scored 3 or more. Haven't really had too many clear openings so far tonight. 35 minutes in, 0-0 somehow. And Koundé watches the ball over the line away from Harvey Barnes for a throw that'll be taken on the Barcelona right. You're listening to Newcastle Barcelona in the Champions League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We're here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Pressure from Tonali, forcing the error. Pedri's ball back for Koundé, was hurried, and it's come off the Frenchman and had to play for a throw that Tino Livramento is going to come forward to take. 9 minutes from half-time. Tonali going square towards Bruno Guimaraes. Pressure telling from Pedri. Play forward by Rashford. Lewandowski. Pink shirts shuffling forward really quickly. Out it comes for Pedri. Newcastle, as he takes it wide, have been able to very quickly get their shake back behind the ball. Firmine Lopez losing out. Pedri has it again though. Frankie de Jong. Koundé in space on the Barcelona right. Ball in from Koundé. Knocked away on the half volley by Burn. Good control from Pedri, who's becoming increasingly influential now. Koundé, though, getting it back. He goes back for Araujo. Kubasi is going to be able to bring it forward. Now in the midfield, De Jong. The possession was relatively even at the start of the game, but the longer the match goes on, the more Barcelona are having of the ball. Expected that would be the case with that initial Newcastle storm kind of blowing itself out. They're never going to be able to play at that intensity for a consistent 90 minutes. They're having to manage the match. But in doing so, they're just ceding possession more and more as half-time approaches. Kubasi, De Jong, straight ball forward from him. Rafinha drifting in off the flank, almost playing as another 10 alongside Firmine Lopez for the moment. Ball has gone back for Pedri. A possession actually 67-33, so 2/3, 1/3 Barcelona's favour. Rashford trying to wriggle his way through the penalty area. Trippier forces him wide. A cross-come shot takes a deflection. Livramento watching it every step of the way, made sure it didn't go over the line. Now under pressure from Koundé, tries to bring it away, but he's ended up giving it away. Backheel flick plays Firmine in. Firmine to De Jong on the edge of the box. The De Jong wriggling free. Play back towards Rafinha. Rafinha trying to get away from his compatriot Bruno Guimaraes. I think maybe the referee just bought that. It is a free kick to Barca, 10 outside the box, right of centre. Yeah, it's good play from Rafinha. He just bought that, as you say, just leads his body into Guimaraes there, goes down. But it's wonderful play from Barca again in this final third. The last 25-30 metres of the pitch, they just keep it, they're just calm. They expect you to get that nervous energy. You being Newcastle, do something a little bit weird and we'll pick you up. Livramento tries to clear it, has no out ball, so has to try and run out from the back here, and unfortunately he gives the ball away. But this is real energy, real pressure now that's coming on from Barcelona. I expect Newcastle are just going to have to dig in for the next 5 or 6 minutes to get to half time. So Rashford standing over it, Rafinha too. There are 3 in Newcastle wall. Rafinha strikes it, and Pope had it covered as it went over the top right-hand corner. Yeah, nice easy one there for Pope. Just high and a little bit ugly. Interestingly, Rashford wanted it though, and Rafinha just let him know that he's still the big boy here, and there's still a ranking order. He just has to wait his time. Well, sorry, I was just going to say Rafinha scored 16 goals in his last 16 Champions League ties, so there is a ranking order. Yeah, absolutely. But I was just going to say, I can see as this game goes on, Murphy being a real good acquisition for Newcastle to bring on. Harvey Barnes just down in front of us here, blowing a little bit heavy, been asked to do a lot of work both going forward and defensively. I just think with that raw pace of Murphy, he loves to defend anyway, but it's the same skill set type of Elanga, and I think he could cause a lot of trouble later in the game. Increasingly these days it is a squad game, and it's the ability and skill of your best 3 or 4 players on the bench. So important. Barnes with a nice reverse out of the left-hand corner flag that's been picked up by Livramento. Then the ball back towards Barnes, and the referee has said it's a Newcastle ball for I think it's a corner given, I think. And Elanga's going to come across to take it. So corner number 4 for Newcastle. Elanga has had some lovely moments. We talked about Keith Gillespie and that famous victory here against Barcelona and the damage he did down the right-hand side. Elanga has put over a couple of telling crosses, but as yet no Newcastle player has been able to make one into an assist. Can they from this corner that Elanga will swing in from the Newcastle left? 4 to go to half-time. In front of the Lees out. Byrne is there. Cher is there. Joelinton trying to make himself a nuisance right in front of the goalkeeper. Burns actually got in between Joelinton and the goalkeeper as the ball comes in. Goalkeeper got a couple of hands to it, could only palm it away softly towards the edge of his penalty area. Barca clear. Trippier runs round it, gets to halfway, smacks it forward again, flicked on by Byrne, the tallest man on the pitch. Cher lets that run, and it will come down for Elanga, coming in off the left flank. Back for Cher again, right-footed cross, not enough height on it, headed away by Rashford. Livramento inside the centre circle, hooks it forward, slightly awkward bounce. Araujo didn't know whether to stick or twist, coming to meet it, but the flag is up against Joelinton, and it's a free kick to Barcelona. I don't think he's offside there, but I think because of the perception of Barcelona having that high line, I think they get a few calls at the 50-50, they get that, because Joelinton's not offside there for me. Again, old basic rule, don't let the ball bounce. Barca do that and Joelinton wins it. Again, no, just Newcastle in that final third. We speak about how good Barca are in that final third. Newcastle seem to rush, hurry, and kind of be a little bit tense when they're crossing the ball. Not that much quality yet. If they can add that in the second half, they'll be in all the time. And they might be in here. Fermin Lopez down the right-hand side. Byrne did well, got back, and so too did Tonali, who stretched out a right foot and could bring Fermin Lopez's ball into his stride. Joelinton heeds the cry of man on. Trippier brings it forward. Now Elanga is up against Martin again, going down that right-hand side, twisting and turning, triggering his way through. Joelinton, really poor cross, but he's going to be able to find Anthony Gordon, who can keep it alive on the left-hand side of the penalty area. And now he gets to the byline and wins the corner with a driven ball in that Koundé can block. Really good play again. We've spoke about him all day, that Elanga down that right-hand side. Weirdly elected to come back in. I fancy him to run at Martin and get something in the byline. Little ball from Joelinton, a good play from Gordon. Keeps the ball alive, keeps the pressure on.
Can Newcastle deliver that little bit of quality now, Jim, that will probably get them over the line?
Eintracht Frankfurt have equalised at home to Galatasaray. It's a Davinson Sanchez own goal. That means that all 4 Champions League ties underway at the moment are currently all square. 0-0 at City over on Talksport 2, 0-0 here. In comes the corner, headed away by Frankie de Jong by Lewandowski, I beg your pardon, on the edge of the 6-yard box. Comes back out for Livramento. Another high hanging ball forward, but that's going to be easy for Joan Garcia to be able to come out and claim, notwithstanding the aerial presence of Dan Burn in front of him. And he's bowled it out quickly, and now Koundé can come forward. 90 seconds to go to half-time. Maybe a couple of minutes to be added on. Frankie de Jong into the feet of Pedri. Back for de Jong, back for Pedri, back for de Jong. As quickly as you can say it, they're playing the passes. Kabasi now. Rashford coming short, wanting the ball into feet, and he's laid it straight back and does so again to find Pedri. Gerard Martin out on that left flank. Number 21 international left back. Able to turn. Frankie de Jong on the edge of the centre circle. Pressure coming in from Gordon. Newcastle fans trying to sing their side through to half-time, knowing that the interval is getting close. Joelinton, a nice bit of trickery in the midfield, bit of ball juggling. Gordon likewise, and then Guimaraes is caught. Poor challenge coming in, and the referee produces a yellow card. Bruno Guimaraes still down, holding that right knee. That was a really poor challenge from Gerard Martin.
Guimaraes is trying to get him stay down here to get VAR to have a look at it. It's a poor tackle, it's high, but I think it is a yellow. I don't think it's as bad as he's making out. I remember Van Dijk doing that against Gordon. He stayed down just long enough that VAR had to look at it. But I'd be surprised if you get a red card for this.
Well, the VAR tonight is Jérôme Brissard, the Frenchman, an all Swedish officiating team here on site. We're into 2 minutes of added time, but those 2 minutes won't start until play resumes once they got Guimaraes sorted out. And now Joelinton and Rafinha, 2 men who know each other well from their international days as teammates with Brazil, and they were just having quite a heated debate as they made their way forward into Barcelona territory to face this free kick.
Yeah, I think Rafinha's just letting him know I'm still the boss, and Joelinton just letting him know that this is a Geordie welcome. When you're here, you're going to get booed and you're going to have a lot of pressures. I just want to get your opinion, Jim, just on Newcastle. Will they feel it's a good first half, or a first half of what if?
Well, my take is that it will be a good first half, that they've laid a solid foundation, that the game plan has been good in the 2 phases we've talked about, that they can, when they turn over possession deep, they can hit on the counter-attack. When they can push forward down the right-hand side, their pressing game is potentially able to cause joy. But I think you're also right that it is a question of what-ifs, and they'll look at the half chances that have been created and be rueful of the fact that at least one of them wasn't taken. And they were in the opening 15-18 minutes of the game, much the better side. Dan Burns putting the pressure on Koundé here and caught him late. That was a poor one. And Koundé has rolled and eventually is stopped by the hoardings. There was a ball that Dan Burns stood no chance of winning. When he actually made the tackle and the contact with Koundé, he was about a yard over the touchline, and he's got a yellow card.
I was going to say, he'd do really well to not get a yellow card for that. He hasn't intentionally gone to harm him, but it's just late. He's trying to block the ball, and it's one of them where the fullback just kicks into Dan Burn. It'll be a yellow card. It'll be a sore one for Koundé as well.
Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Galatasaray 1. Can Yüzen has now scored in 4 successive games for the German side. Galatasaray coming into tonight have won 16 in a row. Wow. But they're trailing 2-1 at Eintracht Frankfurt. And Sporting League Kairat by a goal to nil. The Kazakhstan champions trailing to a goal from Trincao. His 4th of the season is Sporting's top scorer now. Well, the 2 minutes of added time continue to be elongated by stoppages. Firstly for the foul on Bruno Guimaraes, and now that one on Koundé, who is back on the field and hobbling away. Burn in the book. Joelinton's also been booked in the first 45 minutes for Newcastle. And the free kick, bearing in mind that the challenge from Dan Burn was basically in row C, But the goalkeeper has decided he's going to try and take the free kick, almost level with the right-hand side of the box, and has half got away with that. Plays the ball forward, Byrne heads it away. Eddie Howe acts as the ball boy, in fact lets the ball roll past him into the Newcastle dugout, and Koundé is a brave man as he goes in to retrieve it. Takes the throw quickly, back he goes for Araujo, and that is half-time. And it is, to an extent, a question of what might have been. Anthony Gordon with an air shot at a great Elanga cross very early in the game. Harvey Barnes wrapping his left foot around another perceptive ball in from that right flank, only to see Joan Garcia kick it away at the near post. Lewandowski's had a couple of moments as well. Newcastle, I think, will be quietly pleased with what they've achieved. An 8 out of 10 performance from them, but still they will think that there is room for a little improvement. Half-time at St James's, a really good watch, despite the half-time score of Newcastle 0, Barcelona 0.
You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise. Rent a car, whatever it is, they're here for a few boos there for the officials as they are the last ones off the pitch. Do you know what? The atmosphere was brilliant just before kick-off. Troy, it certainly died down towards the end of this first half. It feels like the nerves are creeping in with the Newcastle fans.
I don't know if it's the nerves. I think just Barcelona got a little bit stronger. And like we say for the players, it's hard for the fans to be 45 minutes as high and keep that tempo that they did at the start of the game. I think Barcelona did an excellent job just towards the last 30 minutes onto 45 of just keeping the ball, making sure that Newcastle realised, right, we're going to be doing the same thing all day. So if you drop off for 2 or 3 minutes, we'll get our chances. And they'll feel that the longer the game goes on, they can pick off the game. But I just think for Newcastle, it was catch your breath, go again. The next 10 minutes will be just as intense as the start of the first half. They'll go in behind, try and get that Gallagher end right up with them and get after it, and try and force as many throw-ins and corners in this final third. And for Newcastle, I think they'll be a little bit disappointed. That's why I asked Jim in commentary, a little bit disappointed that they didn't get a clearer chance or at least a goal in that, because I felt it was there for them, especially in that first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was electric. The pace of the game was breathtaking at times.
You don't know how. I genuinely think sometimes that when I played football, 3 years ago, it must have the fitness levels must have gone up 200%, because this Newcastle team, they just go and go and go. And again, now you look at the bench, they've got players that when they take 2 or 3 off, they keep it the same, and the intensity will be there. It's just whether that quality will be there long term.
And someone you obviously picked out pre-match was Anthony Elanga, and a lot of the good work from Newcastle have come down that right-hand side.
Yeah, I think for both teams, the right-hand side is the key area of danger. Elanga and Rafinha for Barcelona, him cutting in on his left foot and putting some lovely balls in. Frankly, for Nick Pope, was able to deal with it. But for Elanga, he's been exceptional going forward. Just want a little bit more quality in the final third. He did one good pass to Barnes, but after that, then started coming in on his left foot, cutting back. And I just think when you've got Martin on a yellow card now, just run him every single time, because he can't touch you. And if you get near the penalty box, he's going to have to back off. So make it so Barca end up thinking we're going to have to change him or have to take him off. So I think Elanga's the key. I do think as well as the game develops, Murphy will come in and add a little bit on this left-hand side as well, because Barnes is good, but he's better at getting the ball and driving at you. This is a game that needs you to run without the ball, and I think that's more Murphy's wheelhouse.
Another thing we mentioned obviously was the fact there was no Nick Voltemada in this team, that Anthony Gordon's been preferred, possibly down to the pace of this side. But do you think, if you go back to the start of this season, that was one of the big issues with Newcastle, didn't have that number now. I don't want to mention the name Alexander Isak, but I'm doing it. They missed that focal point. Is that the problem in this Newcastle team to a degree?
Yes, but with Voltemada, they play completely different. As I said, he's going to come and link the play, and I don't know whether he could do the defensive duty on the back of De Jong and Pedri, like Gordon has. He's kept them honest, kept it going back to the 2 centre-halves. He's a great football player, but I think Visser's missing in these moments, in these types of games. Again, you're a Brentford fan, you know the energy and the intensity that he brings. If they had Gordon on the left, Visser through the middle and Elanga, this would be frightening for Barcelona, because all you would have to do is keep doing it time after time, turning it round and see if they can do it. I think Voltemada, who is excellent and brings you a different skill set, I just don't think he gives you that level of intensity that Newcastle have played with.
You're right, obviously, with Johan Wissa, especially at Brentford, he played with the front three, very similar, obviously, as Newcastle do too. But he's out for some time, probably not back until after the October international break, after he picked up an injury while representing the Democratic Republic of Congo. Troy, for now, thank you very much. Coming up next, we'll continue to build up to the second half here at St James's Park, where it's a little quiet at the break, but I'm sure once those players make their way out for that second half, it will be ramped up once more. This is Champions League live on Talksport.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Forget everything you know about golf. This is the Ryder Cup, and there's no golf like it. Don't miss a minute of the action as Team Europe look to spoil the party as the first team to win on away ground since 2012. The Ryder Cup returns in 8 days. Enjoy every moment live on Sky Sports. Available to stream flexibly with Now. No fuss.
Chase is the digital bank you can rely on with helpful 24/7 customer service.
So I can speak to a real person anytime?
Absolutely, even after work. And you get a handy 1% cashback on everyday transport.
Like on the train to visit family this summer.
Roger that. Join millions of customers and see what your money can do with Chase. Search Chase Bank. 18+ UK residents. Eligibility applies. 1% cashback on debit card spending on groceries, everyday transport and fuel for your first year. Max £15 per month. Exceptions apply.
Oh, Fiona's back at the monkey safari again. She's hooked on Toyota service and aftercare. In fact, it's so good, she'll find any excuse to come back. From replacement wipers to service and MOTs, our perks include free refreshments, quiet workspaces, courtesy cars, and a 1-year warranty with every service. Toyota service and aftercare. So good, you'll find any excuse to come back. 12-month, 10,000 miles warranty with a completed service at a Toyota centre after manufacturer's warranty expires. Vehicles must be under 10 years old and 100,000 miles. T's and C's apply.
Nearly a day of rest. Time to reflect on the week gone by. But not for the Talksport Bet Boffins, because they've been beavering away again to bring you yet another sensational Sunday Super Boost. Arsenal versus Manchester City. Both teams to score. Current price 5-8. Super boosted price 5-4. Talksport Bet. Busy broadcaster. Bring it on, bookie. Offer available from 8 a.m. Sunday the 21st of September. Terms and conditions apply. 18+ gambleaware.org.
We're Leyland Trade. We could spend the next 30 seconds talking about our big passion, paint. But we can read a room. You just want to know it'll get the job done, and get it done right. So we'll just say this. We've been keeping brushes in business since 1922 by keeping things simple. No jargon, no faff, just top-notch paint. Leyland Trade. Enough said. And we've still got a few seconds to spare.
In the UK, there are more than 3 million lost pensions.
Find us.
At AJ Bell, we're on a mission to reunite you with yours. In fact, every time we track down a pension, we ring a bell. It's really quite fun. If you love the sound of bells, it's definitely not a little annoying. Can we turn the music up a bit? These bells are doing my head in. Open an account today and let us help find your long-lost pensions. AJ Bell. Feel good investing. Pension criteria apply. The value of your investments can go down as well as up.
It's a big match day, and Coral's Reward Shaker has turned gold. There's guaranteed wins today. Oh, a big win for the Group Chat tipsters. Super tips, super-sized free bets. And that's a golden shake from the Full Kit Fanatics. A £10 cash prize to match those number 10 shirts. Play Coral's free Golden Reward Shaker for bigger guaranteed football rewards. Coral, we're here for it.
18+ UK. Max 1 reward or offer per player per day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Golden Shaker available on selected days. Reward restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Where can you get the latest breaking sports news delivered with the laser-like accuracy of Michael Van Gerwen?
1 hour and 80.
And hear passionate opinions debated with the confident dexterity of Virgil van Dijk.
The Liverpool fans celebrate.
Answer on the radio show that's got the nation's sports fans buzzing like a Van de Graaff generator. Early breakfast. Weekday mornings from 5 on Talksport with Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Insurance for the individual. Search Adrian Flux Van Insurance to find out more.
Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Initiate adrenaline pumps. Kick off live on Talksport.
This is your final chance to enter our biggest competition yet. 2 winners will score Oasis tickets for their September 27th show, and 1 will win £25,000 in cash. Yes, £25,000 and tickets to see Oasis. You've only got until 9 a.m. tomorrow to enter. Complete T's and C's are available here.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a Talksport limited promotion run on Talksport, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
OK, Champions League Live here on Talksport comes from St James's Park, where at half-time it is goalless between Newcastle and Barcelona. But it's been an electric game. Pace has been the word of that first half, up and down, both sides, causing all sorts of problems, but perhaps that final finish is what has been lacking. The Newcastle players, substitutes that is, are warming up on the pitch as we speak, with a certain 6'6" Nick Voltemada amongst them as well. Let's just bring you some breaking news that's come out of the Premier League this evening, and Wolves have confirmed that their head coach Vitor Pereira has signed a new 3-year contract, as we expected. Troy, it's been a difficult start to life this season for Wolves. So does that surprise you in some ways, this new deal?
I'm surprised he's taken it, to be honest. I thought he would be one of those managers that would walk away, if I'm being totally honest. He keeps having his team stripped of their best players, and the investment isn't there that keeps you in the league. Maybe Wolves look at it and think, with this manager, the way he plays, the way it is, yes, it's going poorly at the moment, but they need to bring out some positivity, and they can stay up just off his coaching. Maybe they think their squad is just better than the 3 that came up. Personally, I think they're in trouble. I really do. I think they're in trouble.
I mean, we did see when he took over the sort of lift it brought Wolves. But as you say, this season, 4 straight losses, bottom of the Premier League. It's a dire situation.
A striker whose head's been turned because he thought he'd be here. Yeah, he thought he'd be playing in nights like this. Yeah. So if he doesn't play, they've got no goal-scoring threat. They've lost Cunha. They've lost Aït-Nouri. It's just year after year they keep stripping the team away and expecting the manager to do miracles. So for me, I think it's great for him, it's great for the fan base to get excited about, but it's got to be a real difficult year.
There's another little bit of news to bring you with regards to Manchester United's women, who have made it through to the main draw of the Champions League for the first time, as they defeated Brann 3-0. That was 3-1 on aggregate, as Elizabeth Turland's hat-trick gave Mark Skinner's side the victory. So a great accomplishment for Manchester United as they reach the Champions League proper. Right, let's bring you the halftime odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
OK, the halftime odds. At halftime, Newcastle now best price at 19-10 to come away with the victory here at St James's Park, whereas Barcelona are now at 7-4. And the draw is a price of 13-8. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18 and over. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Just to let you know, over at the Etihad, it's also goalless between Manchester City and Napoli. The visitors, though, are down to 10 men. Their captain, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, was sent off for a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. It was a VAR intervention that led to that, with the referee having to go to the monitor to change the original decision that he made, which was to award a yellow, and then upgraded it to a red as he brought down Erling Haaland when clean through. So can City make that extra man count? Well, second half commentary on that one will be over on Talksport 2 with Ian Danta and Mickey Gray. Download the app and swipe between all of our stations. You won't miss a thing. Now, the latest episode of the brand new Talksport Daily podcast is available right now, as European football expert Kevin Hatchard joins Ollie Klink to discuss why we're so obsessed with Jose Mourinho and whether he should still be considered the special one. Tune in on the Talksport app or wherever you get your podcast from. OK, it is goalless here at St James's Park, but especially for the neutral, it's been pretty exciting from that first 45. But The second half is about to get underway as the players continue in terms of the substitutes with their warm-ups. So let's take you back to Troy Deeney to get his reflections on that first half and what you think Newcastle can do to make a breakthrough in this second half.
More of the same. A bit more positivity in the final third for me. A little bit more belief that they can actually go and score, that they can hurt this Barcelona team. But also that little bit of calmness when they don't have the ball, because it's going to be a little bit more than a 10-minute stretch now. I'd expect Barcelona to shift the ball a little bit quicker in the earlier parts and then try and dominate in Newcastle's defensive half. But for Newcastle, excellent. We're just looking down at the subs they've got now. What a squad they've assembled. Everyone being fit and healthy, this is going to be a real good squad for Newcastle, and I expect them to be going through this phase in the Champions League and finishing the top 6 for the Premier League. Really good squad, really good business, and you probably expect them to go again in January.
Absolutely, and with Johan Wiese to return to this team as well, that only bolsters their attacking options, which will be great for Eddie Howe.
How did you get that Brentford player in every single time?
Hang on. I didn't even mention Brentford. You mentioned Brentford. I just said Johan Wiese. You may have heard the sort of smattering of boos. Well, that's because the Barcelona players have now made their way out. Let's listen. These are the Newcastle players as they head out then for this second half, where the fans will hope that this will be a better 45 for them, that they will make the breakthrough and get those 3 points on the board as they make this return to the Champions League. Can it be a special second half? Well, we'll find out with your commentary team. It is Newcastle versus Barcelona on Talksport. So this game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Let's hand you over to your commentary team then. Troy Deeney is alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Nat, thank you. Just been downstairs, Troy, and I bumped into a mate of mine, a Newcastle fan. Said, what do you think? He goes, I'm worried about the yellow cards. Joe Linton and Dan Burn having both been cautioned. He said, simply cannot afford to put ourselves in a position where we pick up 2 yellows for any player. And I said, OK, that's fine. But Gerard Martin, the left back for Barcelona, you could argue, might be the most susceptible player on the pitch to a second yellow of those that have had one so far. We are back underway. Newcastle are taking the kick-off. Tonali just whacking it straight down towards the corner flag. But the referee wasn't happy. I think a few of the Newcastle players had encroached, and so he's asked for the kick-off to be retaken. No changes at half-time. Newcastle piping goal. Trippier, Sherburn and Livramento. Guimaraes, Tonali, Joe Linton, Alanga, Gordon and Barnes. For Barca is Joan Garcia, Koundé, Araujo, Kubasi and Gerard Martin. Lopez, De Jong and Pedri, Rafinha, Lewandowski and Rashford. I used to watch going back 30 years, I used to watch a bit of Southampton. Was covering them home and away, and that kick-off always used to be done to get the ball out of play for an early throw, because in those days getting the ball out of play for an early throw was seen as a good thing. I haven't seen that kick-off that Sandro Tonali has just done for a long time. I mean, we saw what was going to happen the first time of asking. The second time he's just done it again, just in a bid to try and get Newcastle to be able to condense Barca well inside their own half right from the kick-off.
It does. He puts Barca right inside their 18-yard box. But what it does, it gets his crowd up again, and we spoke about it at the end of the first half. They're going to want to try and really bring this Newcastle team and energy of the fans back like they did in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the first half. So expect the same again. Loads of forward passes, loads of balls in behind, and expect Newcastle to pressurise Barcelona and get this fan base excited again like they did in the first half.
Gerard Martin taking a throw, flicked around the corner by Pedri. It hit Bruno Guimaraes. Now Gordon chasing after the goalkeeper, who we saw in the early exchanges of the first half was desperate to have the time to take a second touch. That's what he's used to. Hasn't really got it tonight. Got it clear that time. Livramento then wins it back. Barnes trying to cross from the left flank, ends up letting the ball hit Araujo, and it's out for an early Newcastle corner. 90 seconds gone in the second half here on Talksport. Still 0-0.
There you go, getting the crowd up again. Just that simple ball down the left-hand side. Barnes getting to it, gets you a corner, and that whole end again. The Gallagher end is up and ready to go.
Tonali is waiting, hands on hips on the edge of the D, feigning indifference. Guimaraes is right in front of the goalkeeper. Share on the edge of the 6-yard box. Barnes by the penalty spot. In towards Dan Burn, and the header from Joelinton off balance. Flashes just wide. Probably Newcastle's best corner so far. Really good delivery. Joelinton took a step off, then attacked the ball, but he couldn't quite get it to do enough, and it's gone wide of the top right-hand corner.
Great ball in for Malanga. Just watching the replay, it just skims Joelinton's head. Just mistimed his head. If you put a little bit more on that, Newcastle are one up, but again, just being positive.
And now possession's been turned over again, allowing Barnes to get a shot in on the Barca goal. That's blocked by Araujo. Goes back out towards Livramento. And out for another Newcastle United throw. Joelinton will go across to take it. I'm sure he's not going to take it. He's just retrieved the ball for Livramento. Joelinton, the last man to score a goal for Newcastle in the Champions League. He's one of only 3 current Newcastle players who have scored for the Toon Army in this competition. The other 2 being the centre-halves, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär. Will anybody be able to add their name to that roll of honour? Potentially from this long throw. Livramento arching the back, hurling it in. It's headed on at the near post. It might break Gordon's way. It doesn't quite. Joan Garcia picks up the loose ball. 2 or 3 Newcastle players were appealing for a handball there. Barcelona goalkeeper has whacked it upfield, trying to get Rafinha isolated against Livramento. He put too much on the clearance, and it's just gone straight through for Nick Pope. 3.5 gone second half. Still goalless. Still highly entertaining and steeped in intrigue. Tonali. Gordon's made his run too early. Not sure that Elanga did, but he then checked. And he's made the point to Tonali that pass has to be played earlier. For the way that they're all trying to play on the shoulder of the last Barcelona man. It's gone through for the goalkeeper again.
Again, really good play. I do think that did hit the hand by the way the ball span up, but it's just one of those unintentional ones. But again, really excellent start from Newcastle. Getting Elanga down this right-hand side is going to be the key to them winning this match.
Pedri's inside the centre circle.
How good is he to watch, by the way? Every decision, you think he's going to go play forward, he cuts back and keeps the ball. Just looks elegant on the ball. What a player.
I don't know what his pass completion rate is tonight, but it's going to be very high 90s. Lewandowski just trying to thread the ball through, might be able to do so as well. Rashford, Schär has been cleaned out by that, but it could be a goal-saving block. I don't think he knew much about it at all. Rashford trying to arrow one towards the top right-hand corner, and it has knocked Schär off his feet. I don't know that it's knocked him spark out necessarily, but he is lying on his back inside the penalty area, and that will have properly hurt.
Yeah, he's took that one clean on the jaw there. He's gone down. Let's hope he's okay. But again, Barcelona, really good play. Just playing through the lines into Lewandowski's feet. As he gets half-turned, Dan Burn comes a little bit late. He just plays a lovely little ball through the legs. And again, it's Lopez in there. That man, again, for me, one of the most special talents in world football at the moment, Lopez. Really good player. Breaks to Marcus Rashford. Good first touch. Looks like it's going in from our position here, just behind the goal. He looks like he's going to go straight into that far corner, but it's a great block from Schär. As you say, don't know much about it, but it's caught him right behind the ear as well, so could potentially be out as well here. Hopefully he's not.
But just seeing the close-up on our monitor made it look as though he was okay, that he hasn't been knocked out by it. But he'll be feeling that for days.
Yeah, that's like the boxer punch, isn't it? Where you just get caught just behind the ear, on the jaw, and you go down. But he's took one for the team there, square in the face. They just check in for concussion. Hopefully he's okay and he's up. He won't want to come off as a player. You don't want to come off in these games. And obviously 2 centre-halves on the bench as well. He doesn't want to give his place up. He's earned his place, sure. So I'd be surprised if he comes off now.
Yep, Sven Botman and Malik Chow are both waiting. Chow, who's played in the Champions League semi-final in the past with Milan back some 3 seasons ago. Sven Botman, who had that long problem with a knee injury that cost him 10 months. The Dutchman frustrated, I understand, at the lack of playing time that he's getting at the moment. Schär's okay. Probably seeing 3 of the ref as he speaks to him. He's just told him that having had that treatment, he has to vacate the scene for the obligatory 30 seconds and he's coming off. But he's going to be able to continue, I'm delighted to say. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Elsewhere, Man City 0, 10-man Napoli 0 over on Talksport 2. Rashford works the ball back for Pedri. He's only 22. He's already played 200 Barcelona games, which gives you an idea of just how good he is. Well, I think Yamal might be on 300 by the time he's 22, but they are generational talents. Pedri showing for the ball now with his arms above his head right in front of us. About 3-4 yards inside the half that Newcastle United are attacking in this second period. Dan Burn lays it out towards the Newcastle left. Barnes just plays the way that he's facing. It's gone back for Trippier. Trippier's out on the left and Livramento on the right at the moment for Newcastle. It'll be interesting to see whether that's a tactical change or just the way things are developing. What a ball from Livramento, finding Elanga on the right side of the penalty area. Pulled back for Joelinton. Livramento making his way forward, rolling towards Bruno Guimaraes. He couldn't quite get there. Barcelona clear. Back for Trippier. Joelinton again. Joelinton to Elanga, right hand side of the box. Gordon goes up for the header. Koundé beat him in the air. And it's cleared out towards Elanga once more. Now Trippier back at right back. Into Bruno Guimaraes inside the penalty area. Little drop of the shoulder. Setting it up for Tonali. And a rising drive is caught at the second attempt by Joan Garcia.
Much better. But again, what a ball from Livramento. Just takes a touch in the right back area. Just slips it down the side. Elanga's got Martin on toes. Martin has to back off. Can't go with the high line. And Newcastle playing, as you say there, ends up with a wonderful shot from Tonali, but straight at the goalkeeper.
And Joelinton has played it into him again. And Tonali looking for Gordon, really well dealt with by Kubasi. And here comes Pedri. Pedri all of a sudden marauding forward, almost got the defence splitting ball past Cher. It was cleared by Byrne in behind him. And out for a throw that'll be taken on the Barcelona left. Beaten semi-finalists last season. I'm sorry, Troy. A 3-3 at home and a 4-3 defeat away. They led 3-2 away in stoppage time. And 6-5 up on aggregate, conceded to Acerbi. And then in extra time to Fratesi. Beaten in the semis. Haven't played as a result of that in any of the last 10 Champions League finals. Rashford, not his best, as you will be able to judge from the reaction of the crowd. And he just tried to hook his left foot underneath the ball from a prohibitively tight angle. And he's blazed it way over Nick Pope's bar. We've played 54, 0-0. Thomas Tuchel is here tonight, watching on, as you would if you had a free seat anywhere in the house. Oh, yeah, I'll come. Marcus Rashford, just one of those that he will be watching. Of course, Dan Burn, another Tino Livramento against Barcelona will be something that Thomas Tuchel will be eager to see with how he's dealing with it. And I think that Tino will have passed that test. Pope to take this goal kick 10 minutes into the second half.
I was just going to ask you there, Jim, before I rudely interrupted you. I apologise for that. I just think that this game's getting a little bit too stretched for Newcastle's liking now. When they can set everything up in front of them and go and attack, I feel like Newcastle are in a really good position with that high press. But when it gets a little bit stressed, just that midfield, the battle just comes a little bit solid. What a ball.
Bruno Guimaraes, the perpetrator of it, goes out towards Harvey Barnes. Barnes turns inside to try and get away from Koundé, who's blocked his cross. Livramento gets it back to Barnes. Barnes wanting to work it onto his right foot again. Once more, he's able to pick it up. Shoves it down the line this time. Livramento gets there first, wins another corner.
Again, it's just building, isn't it? It's just building really, really nicely for Newcastle. Just feel like if you're Eddie Howe now and Tyndall, you're there questioning when do we make the changes? When do we bring it on? Because at 55 minutes, you're in the ascendancy and you don't really have to change much. But you'll get that feeling that maybe if we bring the big fella on, he'll come on and score us that goal. And does that take away from what you're already doing?
Will that be the first change? Or just wonder whether the first change might be Murphy for Barnes.
Yeah.
Another Newcastle corner. Swung in from that left-hand side. Byrne attacking it. He's got the top of his head to it. No more than that. And then Barcelona clear and win a throw. Erling Haaland breaks the deadlock. City 1, Napoli 0 over on Talksport 2. Erling Haaland's 6th goal of the season. His 50th in Champions League football. He's got there quicker than anyone ever before him. Milestone goal. And it was live for you over on Talksport 2. City 1, 10-man Napoli 0. I'm waiting for the deadlock to be broken here. Bruno Guimaraes losing out to Fermin Lopez on the edge of the Barcelona box. Koundé will get it away and place it forward up the right-hand side. And all of a sudden, Newcastle has stretched. Lewandowski is free at the far post. Cher has had to go and try and aid the defensive cover around the ball. Lewandowski free, but they can't get it in towards him. Rafinha laying it back. Now worked forward again by Frenkie de Jong. Koundé, left-footed ball. Rashford, 1-0 Barcelona. Man who once scored in a cup final against Newcastle has now scored against them in the Champions League as well. Ball clipped in from the right-hand side. Rashford came to meet it. Powers a header into the bottom left-hand corner. It's his first goal for Barcelona. His first in the Champions League for nearly 4 years. And Newcastle, for all the positives, trail Hansi Flick's Barca by a goal to 0.
What a header this is. Really good play again for Barca. They're just keeping it alive there. Really calm in and around the edge of the box. De Jong plays the ball out, just out to his right back there in Koundé. He cuts it on his right foot, takes it back into his left and puts a delicious ball right onto the penalty spot. I think Fabian Cher will be a little bit disappointed from a defensive point of view, but take nothing away from Marcus Rashford. What a header. Neck muscles in, times it perfectly, powers it into the far corner. Nothing Nick Pope can do. Really, really good goal. And we touched on it just before, didn't we, Jim? A little bit too stretched, a little bit too much, in my opinion, played into Barcelona's hands. And I expect Newcastle now to make a few changes.
Well, Murphy's already been called back. Here's Rafinha. He's got the better of Joelinton. Now back towards Rashford again. Newcastle had to stand firm. They simply can't afford to concede another. Fermin Lopez. And he's right for the right-footed shot towards goal. And Cher's there again to bravely put his head to it to divert it away. Knew what he was doing that time. Time for a corner.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed when he watches that back. He's just caught on his heels for the goal. But it's a great header from Marcus Rashford, and hopefully that gives him some more confidence, because a good, confident Marcus Rashford is a great one for England.
His last Champions League goal had come back in October 2021 for United against Atalanta. He's ended a 12-game barren streak in this competition. He takes this corner, headed away at the near post twice. Newcastle can't get it to sanctuary though. Fermin Lopez with the ball in, lovely pace on it. It's not quite enough height. Cleared out as far as Koundé. Side foots it forward, Joelinton. Gordon chasing from inside his own half, was onside, but not enough care taken with the pass from Joelinton. Barca's high defensive line should have been exposed that time. It wasn't. And they'll be able to bring it forward again for Fermin Lopez.
Really poor from Joelinton there. It's a simple pass. As it breaks, it breaks on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he's just got a simple 15-yard pass into Anthony Gordon, who's running through the middle of the pitch. He'll be one-on-one, gets it horribly wrong, puts it out wide, and I think Cher's got a bit of a problem from that second header. Maybe he's going to have to come off as well.
Yeah, so I think that Cher might have to be replaced. I think that Joelinton might be replaced because Willock has been called back. Voltemada is ready to come on as well, and now Malik Chow is being called over, so it's going to be Chow for Cher as a result of those two blows that he's got to the head. And I think we're going to see Murphy, Voltemada and Willock coming on, so potentially a quadruple change. Hurtzler did it the other day for Brighton against Man City. They were 1-0 down at home at the time, and were able to turn it round as a result of that. It brought instant dividends. Will Eddie Howe be able to do that similarly here?
I think it's really interesting now. Just looking down at Botman down to our right, he's clearly not happy that he's not coming on, but I just think he's got into that weird position with having so many injuries, Jim. There's no denying he's an unbelievable footballer, arguably their best centre-back, but you just can't trust him anymore. And I just think when you're looking down your squad now and down your bench, I think Eddie Howe's thinking, I can't trust you to come on, get up to speed and stay on for the remainder of the game. So interesting changes now. Voltemada coming on adds a different dimension. They saw Newcastle get into the final third, have a load of crosses, but no real striker in there.
So the changes will be made. Chow on for Cher because of injury. Barnes and Elanga, the wide men, replaced. The absence of Elanga, potentially a bit of a surprise. Murphy coming on. Gordon will switch out to the flank. Voltemada has come on as well. And Willock for Joe Linton, as we suspected would be the case in midfield. Joe Linton was on a yellow card, and you sense that was playing on his mind a little. 17 gone second half. He's a big unit, Voltemada, the big blonde-haired striker with a moustache, which does make it look as though he's something straight out of 1982, but apparently that's fashion.
He looks like a cool kid. Really interesting that Elangas came off. I thought he had a good first half. Had a lot of progressions down his side past Martin. Maybe Murphy is a bit more game with the crosses as well, and maybe the weekends played into his mind. But again, Gordon just driving down his left-hand side.
They got to Bournemouth, Troy, at the weekend. Bournemouth away. And then they got Bradford here in the League Cup before Arsenal come here in 10 days' time in the Premier League. They've got a free kick for a foul by Koundé on Gordon. Gordon's gone out to the left. Murphy's on the right. And Voltemada playing through the middle. Trippier is going to go across to take this free kick. 18 minutes gone in the second half. Newcastle 0, Barcelona 1. Sporting have doubled their lead at home to Kairat. Trincao has scored both of those. Eintracht Frankfurt 3-1 up at home to Galatasaray. City 1, Napoli 0 through Erling Haaland. Jason Tindall doesn't look happy. He's hands outstretched on the bench. Tonali taking this free kick. Looks even less happy now. The hands stretched even wider. Tonali's overhit that by some distance, straight into the hands of the goalkeeper.
I think he's just speaking to Trippier just in front of us. He wants to just move the ball and get this Barcelona to move out of shape, and they can get in. Oh, what a ball.
And it's down towards the right-hand side for Rafinha, who goes towards the corner flag. Checks, turns away from Livramento. Can't get on the end of the back heel. Flick ball back into his path from Koundé. Then Chow took matters into his own hands with a little push. He's been able to head that cross away. Comes out for Koundé again. Koundé to Fermin Lopez. Pedri takes over. Work to his left for Gerard Martin. Rashford goes square for Pedri. Barcelona then happy just to go that little bit deeper back towards the edge of the centre circle. And Frenkie de Jong plays it forward to Kubasi. Another prodigiously talented youngster at the heart of the Barcelona defence. Referee did absolutely nothing for Pedri there. He just stood in his way. Rashford, brilliant defending by the Swedish official. He's made his best contribution of the night. Pedri.
This is where Newcastle don't want to be, though, isn't it, Jim? Chasing the ball, getting the game stretched, running on to Newcastle all the time. I won't be surprised if we see Hall come on for Trippier in a little while as well. Bring Livramento onto this right-hand side. Try and get a bit more pace. Try and make Rashford and Rafinha defend if they want to go away from here with a win.
Man City 2, Napoli 0. Jeremy Doku has scored the second. 2 goals in 9 minutes there. And Conte's men are a man down, 2 goals down. Bird's got to make sure that he doesn't lose possession there. Very nearly did to Rafinha. He got away with it. It's gone out of play for a Newcastle throw. So the problem with the Botman injury is that they've only got 1 change left now, so 25 minutes to go. Much as he might want to make that change at fullback and bring Lewis Hall on, he's got to be mindful of the fact that if they get another injury, they're done. They can't make any more changes after that. So
he was it 10 months last year with a knee injury, was it? I think it was a long time, and you know, you just can't take that risk. Again, he's an exceptional football player, but unless you start him, you want him to build into the game. Coming into a game like this, where the intensity's high, the emotion's high, I think it'll be a big ask for someone who spent a lot of time off.
Rashford, the goal scorer, has headed it on. He couldn't find Lewandowski. He got a second bite at the cherry that he wouldn't have expected, and then has pinged one in off the underside of the bar. That is Marcus Rashford rolling back the years in front of his international manager. As good a goal as he will ever have scored in the Champions League. Trying to flick it forward towards Lewandowski and couldn't find it. Then when it comes back to him, minimal backlift, and he has absolutely larruped it off the underside of the bar and in. And Marcus Rashford scored twice in 8 minutes, and Barcelona lead by 2-0.
Wow, what a hit this is. Marcus Rashford take about, got Tonali chasing him down. He just breaks to him on the 25 yards out, cuts on his right hand side. Tonali's pushing him to get off balance, and he just sets his sights. It's a wonderful hit, and he hits the underside of the bar, and then 25 yards out, no chance for Nick Pope. Man United fans have got the question, where has this Marcus Rashford been? Because, oh my God, this is unbelievable. That talent is what we all know he can do, Jim. We know he's got that. It's because we don't see it consistently that we get frustrated. Marcus Rashford happy in an environment where he has to thrive. Unbelievable. Unbelievable strike. Well done, you.
Well, you made the point earlier that he's probably only playing tonight because of the injury to Lamine Yamal. I don't think there is an awful lot of probably about it. He wouldn't have been playing had Yamal been fit. Back on English soil, desperate to impress. What a 10 minutes he has had. The header was good. That goal is scintillating.
Yeah, unbelievable. Again, I have this chat so many times. My only frustration with Marcus Rashford is we don't see this offered enough. And again, he is at Man United. He got rewarded for playing average at times, in my opinion. But he has the ability. There's no doubt about it. He's got the ability, Jim. And I think for England fans, we'll probably make the argument it's a World Cup year. So is this what we see? But we need to see it more regularly to fulfil the potential we know he has.
You're listening to Newcastle against Barcelona in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. So Barcelona have lost Kabasi to injury. So the numbers that came up, that was weird. Numbers that came up, 5 and 15, and number 7 went on. They have not. The fourth official has just not got a clue what is going on.
Oh,
15 is going to come on, and that is Christensen. And there's Christensen, the Danish international, former Champions League winner with Chelsea. And the other change is going to be Lewandowski coming off and Ferran Torres on to replace him. So they put the numbers ball up for Kabasi coming off, and Ferran Torres just raced on. That confused everybody, including your commentator. Christensen is on, the heart of the defence, replacing Kubasi. And Lewandowski is off, and he's been replaced by Ferran Torres, who has made one previous visit to St James's Park, and he scored a hat-trick for Manchester City. He's got 4 goals in 2 games against the Toon, and he's on for the final 20 minutes to lead the line. Newcastle 0, Barcelona 2. When that second goal went in, Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall just stood motionless. Couldn't look at each other, couldn't catch anybody's eye. They just stood, knowing that they'd been undone by a moment of brilliance. And however you look at this, and Barcelona's canny game plan and the fact that they've had the most possession, 2-0 does not tell the story. Newcastle trying to get back into it. Murphy, high ball inside the penalty area. Goalkeeper lets it bounce. That means that Gordon can keep it in. But his first touch went the wrong way and straight out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Barca. And Newcastle need 2 for a point with 20 minutes to go.
Jim, we spoke about at the build-up here, Asprilla having those moments for a Newcastle player to come and do it. This could be Marcus Rashford's coming out party for Barcelona. He hasn't hit the ground running at this moment in time in Spain, mainly because of Lamine Yamal getting limited time. But this is one that could endear him to the Barcelona faithful. They just now go, oh, that's why we signed him. That's the player we got. Excellent for Marcus. Very, very happy for him. Very, very happy.
Reached the quarterfinals of this competition with Villa last year in that first loan spell away from Old Trafford.
How much pressure does this put on Amorim now, by the way?
Yeah. Here's Willock. Voltemada making a run ahead of him. Willock waited too long and the crowd couldn't hide their dismay. Possession turned over and Barca get it forward quickly again for Rafinha. It's got Ferran Torres trying to make a run across the near post. He's then peeled away to the far. And the shot from Rafinha whistles just past the far post. That was close.
And that's the difference between the two teams. Really good play from Willock. It's a simple ball out. to this right side to Murphy, gets intercepted by Martin, straight into Rashford, first time, whips it down the line, gets Rafinha off, and they finish the action every single time. Could have scored, but a real good shot. It just keeps this Liverpool crowd knowing it's a really, really good team. Really good team.
If Newcastle were to lose this, it would only be their 4th home defeat in the last 32 European ties, which is a good record, until you consider that would be 3 in a row within that run, having lost to Dortmund and Milan a couple of years ago. Now 2-0 down in this one. But such is the format of the competition. I think the vast majority of people love it. I certainly love it. I think it's great, the way that they've rejigged the competition. But it does give that safety net. Last year, 16 points for a top 8 finish. So you can lose your first game. 5 wins and a draw and a defeat from your next 7 will take you to 16, and that gets you straight through past the playoff phase. If you get 12 points, that's winning 4 or winning 3 and drawing 3 of your last 7. That will keep you alive in the competition. So there are no mortal wounds at this stage, but this will feel like a blow against the Barcelona side, who Newcastle were going toe-to-toe with for at least the opening half hour of the game, and spurned a couple of good chances. Good throw from Trippier in towards Valdemar on the right-hand side of the Barca penalty area. Goal back for Newcastle completely changes things. A tall, gangly striker. Little 1-2 between him and Bruno Guimaraes. Then it's nodded down by Tonali, and hitch kicked away from the edge of his own penalty area by Gerard Martin. Chow turning elegantly, getting away from Ferran Torres. Works it out towards Livramento. Just over 15 to go. Down towards Gordon. Gordon coming in off that left flank. Well, he started the game leading the line. He's now gone out to the left-hand side. Valdemar, a clever touch from him. Bruno Guimaraes. Good save. Goalkeeper got his hands to it. It was better from Newcastle. And a lovely little flick from Valdemar around the edge of the penalty area to play in Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, having that focal point there, just allowing him to flick it around. Guimaraes was thinking about trying to get it out to Murphy, but takes a better touch, better option. Again, Marcus Rashford now, with this pace and power, he just looks like a different player.
And on a hat-trick, and he's taking on Trippier. He's inside the penalty area, and he's beaten him. Beat him for pace, didn't quite have the strength to get past as well, and then Tonali is fouled, and a yellow card is shown to Fermin Lopez for his challenge, which stopped Tonali. But worryingly for Newcastle, you talked about the fact that they might want to bring Lewis Hall on, might have to bring him on now. Hopefully it's just a touch of cramp for Trippier as he sprinted to try and get back there with Rashford. But the indication from Dan Burn, who's leaning over his teammate, doesn't necessarily look that good. Trippier's back on his feet without the need for initial treatment, but the signal from Burn appeared to suggest that they were going to have to make a change, which you would imagine would be Hall coming on and Livramento swapping flanks.
Unless they go for it, maybe go to a 3 at the back, maybe put Murphy actually at wing back. Oh, Botman's coming on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, you've called it. Botman's going to be coming on, so Trippier off, Botman on. So they'll play Botman, Burn and Chow as 3 centre-halves. Probably drop Murphy in one side, Livramento at wing back the other.
Yeah, and then go, and then look. Yeah, so what he's doing there, just breaking it down, he's got the 3 at the back. He's gone to the 2 in midfield with Guimaraes and Tonali, and then 2 10s as well. He's just told Gordon to come inside, so their wing backs will be Livramento and Murphy, and then have 2 10s just inside it. He's just trying to get the message across to Gordon to come off that byline and come inside there. Just play in and around the big man, and then have your runs from deep, which hopefully with this high line of Hansi Flick you can get in on and be onside.
So Gordon playing as one of the inside forwards, and this man the other, Joe Willett. Good ball from him down towards Murphy, attacking the penalty area, but his cross hit Gerard Martin. Murphy shepherds the rebound over the line and out of play for a throw, despite the best endeavours of Pedri. 14 to go, 2-0 to Barcelona. Throw taken, and Willock retrieves it. It looks as though Newcastle had lost it. Botman finding Burn, out to Livramento, down the line for Gordon. Valdemar in the middle, Willock is joining him. Gordon couldn't get a cross in. It was Araujo that defended it. And the referee is just going to stop play. Araujo has gone down, he's holding his knee. And it's his race run.
I think it's more calf, Jim. I think he's just cramping again. These centre-backs have been asked to do so many sprints, especially because they get that high line at Barcelona. It's a 30-40 metre run every time, and just thinking he's getting a little bit of cramp now. He's chasing down Anthony Gordon, so we'll give him a little bit of a break.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was a player that there were a few concerns with coming into tonight. So Danny Olmo's going to come on, who has been linked in dispatches with a move to Newcastle. They reckon about 70 million quid. Eric Garcia, the former Man City centre-half, is waiting as well. Ball inside the penalty area, headed on by Dan Burn, but cleared. Goes back out to Livramento. Stands the ball up. Botman has headed it, keeps it alive. Rashford's defensive header, not so good. Falls Chow's way. Chow with great persistence is able to work it around the corner. Willock with a low ball in. Goalkeeper read it well. Joan Garcia comes out, saves it on the edge of the 6-yard box. I think Eric Garcia for Araujo is a change they're going to have to make pretty quickly now. And Danny Olmo will get the opportunity to come on as well. I don't know who he will replace. Maybe Firmino, maybe Rashford.
Maybe Firmino because of the yellow card earlier, and maybe try not to get anyone sent off. But again, there, just that final ball in there from Livramento. You've got 5 big players in the box. Just have a little bit more quality. I think that'll be the disappointing thing for Eddie after the game. I want to hear what he's got to say about them as an attacking force. I think defensively, without the ball, they've been excellent. 2 wonder strikes from Marcus Rashford, one with a header, and obviously the strike we spoke about. But with the ball in that final third, it's just not been good enough.
2-0 Barcelona lead. 2-0 Man City lead Napoli over on Talksport 2. Sporting 4, Kairat 0. Eintracht Frankfurt 5, Galatasaray 1. And also of note, Women's Champions League third qualifying round, Manchester United are through. They've beaten Brann 3-0 tonight, 3-1 on aggregate. Hat-trick from Elizabeth Turlen against her former club, seeing United through. Got 11 minutes left in this. It's 2-0 Barcelona. We'll be taking your calls on the sports bar from 10:15 tonight with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy opening the sports bar for business. 03717223344. Newcastle fans, love to hear your reaction. How frustrated are you with what you've seen and heard tonight? 2-0. Do the positives outweigh the negatives despite the scoreline? Frankie de Jong getting the ball forward here for Fermin Lopez to Rashford. De Jong again inside the centre circle. Eric Garcia still waiting to come on. Pedri protecting the ball well under duress. And then Fermin plays it back for Araujo. Ball clips over the top here for a decent run inside the penalty area. Botman is back making the challenge. No foul on Ferran Torres, although they were pretty irate on the Barcelona bench. They thought it was a big case to answer there. Newcastle get it forward quickly. Gordon chasing after it, but losing out to Koundé. And Newcastle now having to feed off scraps in the Barcelona final third. Since the changes have been made, I don't think anyone's got any complaints that they were made, but they have lost their shape going forward, and the chances just aren't coming now.
Yeah, it's a little bit scrappy. Again, just the ball over the top is the one, but they're doing it to a pass or two too early, so it's going to any one of the centre halves. So they're just going big over the top, and they're already set for that. What Barcelona don't want you to do is pass 1 or 2 times, because then that allows for them to go and press what Hansi Flick wants, and then you spin it. And Newcastle will do that great in the first half, just don't seem to be doing it that well in the second. Martin coming off as well, which again, yellow cards.
So Marcus Rashford is one of the players making way here. He'll get a big ovation from the travelling Barcelona support, which he turns and reciprocates. Danny Olmo is coming on. Big embrace for Rashford from his manager. Just got caught there, actually. That last ball forward off the ball with a finger underneath the eye. Dare I say it was a little bit of a Hansi Flick from Malik Chow on Marcus Rashford.
Very good. Very, very good.
Did it really take till the 81-minute mark to throw that in? Barca will get it forward towards halfway. Brought back down again by Fermin Lopez. Frankie de Jong has got it, and Araujo turns it back to his goalkeeper. So he has stayed on, but Rashford just left the field, big beaming smile on his face, and haven't always seen that in recent times. Tonali bustling his way through. Frankie de Jong stops him, fouls him, gets a yellow card.
I was just about to say that, Jim. How nice it to see Marcus Rashford beaming from ear to ear. Clearly got the manager's trust. Brought him in because he knows he can get the best out of him. It can only be a good thing for England. It can only be a good thing for England. But tonight, I think we'll leave everyone with that frustrated feeling.
Yeah.
I think Man United fans will be frustrated. I think England fans on the whole will be frustrated. Because when he's like this, he's unplayable. Unplayable. But we don't see it enough. Over the last 5, 6, 7 years, we haven't seen it enough.
Newcastle take the free kick. Gordon flicking inside the penalty area, not close to finding a man. And Newcastle set-piece delivery has been another source of disappointment tonight. They had possession on the right-hand side with Chow, who's continued his run. Murphy used him as the decoy, turned inside. And then a little reverse, he was looking for Voltemada. Barcelona clear, De Jong. Fermin Lopez making a run from inside his own half. He's onside as it's played forward. Willock's the only man back, but it was backheeled straight to him as they look for the reverse for Ferran Torres. Newcastle visibly wilting, though. They look shattered.
Murphy's been poor since he's come on. Decision making's not been great. I alluded that he would have a real good half because he has always running in behind, but now with the formation change, they're asking him to be a little bit cuter, a little bit smarter on the ball. He just keeps giving the ball away. I think that the pace that this Barcelona team have decided to step on it from a pressing point of view has caught him off guard coming off the bench.
You're listening to Newcastle Barcelona in the Champions League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. That double Barcelona change, incidentally. Eric Garcia on for Martin and Dani Olmo for Rashford. Pedri's got the ball. And here's Eric Garcia, who made 36 appearances for Manchester City. He's playing his 120th game for his hometown club tonight. Filling in at left back, very versatile defender. I think already this season has played right across the defensive line for Flick's men. Here's Christensen, another one of the substitutes. Willock then has cynically lent into Eric Garcia as he tried to play the ball past him. He's fouled him. No yellow card, but a free kick that Barcelona will take. 6 minutes to go. The clock's ticking down pretty rapidly now, and there's no sign of a Newcastle fight back.
You'll see a lot of this. So this is where the inherent winners is what I'm going to call them. Throughout all of the system, they're used to winning. There's an expectation to win. They will just now, every opportunity they can to kill the game, to slow it down and take the sting out of this Newcastle team, they will do. Again, they'll still have to try and get a win where they can, a shot off, because they'll want to kill this game off at 2-0. They know only takes a set piece to get back into it. But Barcelona now will rack up 200-300 passes, just allowing this Newcastle team to try and come out and draw one of them out and try and get a third to put the nail in the coffin.
Pedri, De Jong, now Dani Olmo in the heart of the midfield. 3 more home games for Newcastle in this Champions League campaign, and when you've started your campaign with a home defeat, they do take on that extra importance. The next one's match day 3, Benfica, or as they are now officially called, Jose Mourinho's Benfica. Come here. We will be here for that one as well. Live commentary on Talksport for that game in the 3rd week of October. They've got a trip to Belgium to take on Union Saint-Gilloise between now and then. Then Athletic of Bilbao come here, and PSV are the other team that come here. They've got Paris Saint-Germain away, match day 8. And they need to get the business done before that, you would think. And seemingly going to get off to a losing start. Everything that they're trying to do now is just going wrong. There was a long, raking ball out towards Anthony Gordon that missed him by 15 yards. And Barcelona can play out from the back pretty comfortably with Christensen.
It just shows the level, doesn't it, of the Champions League. You can play well for 60 minutes and just get killed with 2 moments of quality. I think this Barcelona team is excellent going forward. I think there's been loads of opportunities and loads of examples of the weakness that they have defensively. But I think Newcastle could be proud. I think they can come away from this with so many takeaways. It's like, okay, we can still get through this competition. We just need to tidy up in that final third. And that's probably why they didn't want to lose Isak. That little bit of extra quality, that little bit of game changer, that at the moment they're going to have to be a little bit more workmanlike to get it done.
Of course, it's all ifs, buts and maybes, as opposed to ifs, mutts and babies, which is something completely different. Ifs, buts and maybes. But had Isak been here, that early chance that fell Gordon's way, would it have been a different story? It's all completely academic, of course. Newcastle coming in off the left flank. Willock can bring it towards the edge of the penalty area and then turn. He's got Gordon making a run outside him. He's turned back the other way and he's turned into trouble, Joe Willock. The Newcastle substitutes have disappointed tonight. And Barcelona on the counter-attack might be able to set up a 4 against 3. They can. Forward they come towards the edge of the penalty area. Big moment here for Rafinha taking on Botman. Newcastle have got somebody's back. And the layback from Rafinha to Fermin Lopez sees him fire it over the bar.
And that's the difference, isn't it, between a team that's not used to being in the Champions League and a team that expect to go deep into the Champions League. The quality in that final third is all on show for Barcelona. They're just so comfortable and they never pick the wrong pass in those moments. Newcastle turn it down there, as you just said. It's a simple pass from Willock. Just give it to Gordon, who's on the outside on his own. Weirdly turns in, trying to do too much, and then ends up losing the ball. Again, Guimaraes just turning away there. The ball's on to hit Murphy for the diag, straight through to the goalkeeper. Just not good enough in these final moments for me, Jim.
Yeah, they have lost their way quite substantially over the last 20 minutes. Understandable to an extent. I mean, they put so much into that opening 70 minutes. But, 10 minutes in, when they were on top and the intensity was there and the press was forcing errors and frightening the life out of the goalkeeper, we made the point back then that when you're on top like this, against opposition like this, you have to make the most of something, and they couldn't do it. And as a result, it's unravelled and got away from them as Guimaraes sends another spinning ball straight out of play with the outside of the right boot past Murphy for a throw.
Yeah, and just going back to that point, you alluded to the chance with Gordon. If Isak's there, we expect him to at least hit the target there. And it is moments in games. If you go 1-0 up in the first 10 minutes, I was at the Spurs game on Tuesday, it changes the whole atmosphere. You as players, then you start to settle, you relax. And I just feel that emotional toll of this game and playing against Barcelona has just started to wear on them in the last 15 minutes. But Barcelona players, again, serial winners, expectation, they know we just keep doing the same thing, we'll grind you down, and eventually you'll make mistakes and we'll pick you off then. So I just think it's just at moments in games and moments in time. I think Newcastle are a good team, they're not a great team yet.
This is better from them though. Bruno Guimaraes, Willock, Gordon, there's one back in the 90th minute, and maybe, just maybe, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. The best Newcastle move for about half an hour. Ball played down to the right-hand side. Worked in. Murphy, Willock. Gordon made the run off the left. Side foots it in. It's Newcastle 1, Barcelona 2. The flag rightly stayed down. They've thrown themselves a lifeline.
First time we said in the last half an hour, some quality. What a ball from Murphy. Just played out on his right-hand side. And he feeds it in behind the back four for Gordon to come on. We talk about it in the first 10 minutes, not getting that chance away. This one he wasn't missing. Great finish, and now it's game on.
And there are 7 extra minutes.
Oh no.
Tonali with his arms up around the shoulders of Dani Olmo. I think the referee's been a little deceived there. It is a free kick that will be taken by Barcelona 20 yards outside the Newcastle box. 7 minutes of added time, and all of a sudden a little bit of hope where there was none.
Also now you'd expect every free kick, every ball to go in the box, make it uncomfortable. The big man has done well for him, hasn't he? Up top, he's given him a base to link the play off. Again, doesn't offer you that running in behind, but it gives you a base. It makes the two centre halves of Barcelona become legit and real and have to try and press.
And now Barca, as you would expect them to do, as you would want them to do if you were one of their supporters, are managing the situation. They're taking the sting out of it. The resumptions are tardy. Murphy has gone in there. Eric Garcia's gone in. Eric Garcia is down hurt. You could easily have seen the free kick go the other way there. And Murphy with a look of incredulity across his face when the referee gave the free kick to Barcelona.
This is the bit of football that infuriates me. Yes, they're Barcelona, but there's a linesman, there's a fourth official. We're right behind that. That's never a foul. But the Barcelona players now playing on that. They're going to go down, they're going to claim for everything. This needs the referee to be a bit stronger here, be a bit braver, because there's no way that that's a foul.
Garcia plays the ball forward. That's not a foul either. Botman in really strongly. Hansi Flick using his managerial experience, trying to convince the referee every time one of his players goes down, trying to get in the ear of the fourth official. Barca are going to make a change, and they're going to be bringing on Marc Casado. Defensive midfielder. He started the first 7 Champions League ties last season. He's a Spanish international. He's only got a couple of caps for his country. He'll replace Fermin Lopez, who is leaving the field as slowly as he can. Meanwhile, I think it's Graham Jones on the Newcastle bench got booked. Eddie Howe's backroom staff not at all happy with Barcelona time wasting and the way that they're going down. Something was said, and Graham Jones from the coaching staff has been cautioned. 3.5 minutes of added time played, 3.5 to go, but we're going to see more yet after that. Here's Pedri, right hand side of the penalty area for Barcelona. Rafinha pulling it back towards the edge of the box. Another opportunity for them to try and work it inside that penalty area where Ferran Torres is waiting. Played out towards Koundé, but it doesn't get there. It does it the second time of asking from Casado. Pedri, again, he's been brilliant tonight. Such an understated way, but he's been magnificent. Newcastle win it back. Long one over the top from Livramento. Gordon has to let it bounce. Voltemada makes a run ahead of it. Space on the Newcastle right for Murphy. Didn't come close to finding it. Livramento's been excellent, wins it back. Has to check his run to stay onside. Gordon feathers it into his path. Back from him to Tonali. 20 yards outside the penalty area. Newcastle in possession, but it's come off Tonali and out for a throw to Barcelona.
And just the way that they pressed, Tonali turned out there, went to go back to Dan Burn, and Rafinha was already there, just cut off the pass. Again, I know Newcastle, it's been added time and they feel they've got to get to it, but they've just got to add a little bit of calm when they get into the final third. Barcelona being excellent players, going down, buying fouls, in no rush, eating up clock. As I said earlier, Jim, it needs a little bit of a stronger referee here to get it going, because if this stops at 7 minutes, it's embarrassing. They've been down for 3 of the minutes already.
Yeah, it can't possibly. Well, it shouldn't possibly, is what I should have said. Christensen in possession, wants to go back to his goalkeeper. Man City have won. They've beaten Napoli by 2-0. It's a really poor clearance from the goalkeeper, but he got it towards halfway. Newcastle with the player down hurt. Play goes on. Barcelona 3 against 3 again. They're inside the penalty area. He's laid back. Dani Olmo, great save from Pope. It's an outstanding stop that keeps Newcastle's faint hope alive. Botman then volleys it away, but surely it should have been a free kick to Newcastle upfield.
Absolutely. Again, for all the fouls that have been given for Barcelona, that's a foul on Tonali, but what a save from Nick Pope. Again, great play from Rafinha down that right hand side, feeds the ball into Olmo. He gets a lovely strike down into the bottom corner. Nick Pope, great strong hand to it. Newcastle need to regroup here. They're chasing, they're getting very frustrated, but this is what Barcelona want. They play to keep the ball. They don't mind having all the possession, but you've got to be a little bit brave, a little bit smarter, get the ball and then just be calm afterwards. Easier said than done, obviously, Jim.
Yeah, minute to go. We reckon it probably should be at least 2 minutes to go yet. But Newcastle need the ball if they're going to create one last chance. They might be able to now. No, it's going to be a corner. A right-footed rasping drive from about 25 yards out, really well struck by Ferran Torres, and it took a deflection on its way through that saw it dip alarmingly quickly, but it cleared Pope's bar. It's gone out of play for a corner. Clearly Barca in absolutely no hurry to take this whatsoever. It's just the referee has walked onto the pitch just to remind Rafinha of his responsibilities, that the game isn't up yet, and he's got to actually pretend that he's interested in taking this corner.
But you can't have the fourth official, the linesman coming on the pitch saying hurry up and he carries on walking. You've got to book him at that point.
Rafinha takes the corner short, gets it back, has a shot. Pope saved it. Now they've got to get it forward quickly. One last chance. The 7 minutes are up. How much longer is going to be at it? Xiao being pulled back. It's got to be a yellow card, surely. Good one to take from Casado. It's a professional foul. Just wanted to break it up and let Barca get their defensive shape back. And the 7 minutes are up, and Hansi Flick is complaining, but they've made a change in this 7 minutes, so that has to add 30 seconds on before you've even contemplated the time wasted.
And 10 seconds before they took the corner, he was saying to his centre-backs, 2 more minutes left. Funny how the time goes faster when you don't have the ball, isn't it?
He's doing what he needs to do. I'd want my manager to do the same. He knows he's wrong, though. Pope with the ball forward, looking for Botman. Can't find Voltemada. Poor clearance. Falls Livramento's way. He can't find a way through, but it's a Newcastle ball over on the far side. They've got to get one match ball off the field so that Livramento can take a throw with the other. And the delay in getting the first match ball off has seen Pedri booked. All on this then. A Livramento long throw inside the penalty area. And Newcastle have got 7 forward in black and white to attack it. Livramento arches the back, hurls it in. Byrne trying to flick it on. Half cleared by Olmo. Right-footed effort through a crowd. Goalkeeper can only have seen it late, but he made a comfortable save. Joan Garcia got his hands behind it, and Barcelona believe now that they are there. Garcia kicks it upfield and then punches the Tyneside sky in delight. It's a win for Barcelona on a night where Marcus Rashford produced 2 moments of brilliance, one of them quite spectacular, to win the game for his new club. Newcastle, excellent for the vast majority of the first half, lost their way in the second, particularly after the deadlock was broken. Anthony Gordon threw them a lifeline. They never really looked like taking it, albeit that Garcia had to make a save with the last touch of the night. Newcastle off to a losing start, and Barcelona have beaten them by 2-1. What a night, though, of Champions League football here in Newcastle.
You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. I mean, I've just been sat here watching, obviously, and I'm exhausted just watching it, Troy. It has been a game that has certainly had everything in terms of just sheer commitment from both sides.
Yeah, I think it's a game that Barcelona will be happy with. Obviously, they got the win. But I think there's so many positives for Newcastle to take away from that. Yes, they scored right at the end. But there's a quality element to it that Eddie Howe will be disappointed with. In that final third, they got into really good areas, but they just weren't clinical enough. And I think they can take loads of positives because defensively, the press all worked. But again, set pieces, they were poor. They were much bigger than Barcelona and never really caused them any problems. And then the crosses in the final third. If it wasn't for Murphy with the cross, all the subs who came on as well were really poor. Didn't offer too much more. So again, loads of positives for Newcastle. Them and their fan base will feel this was one that maybe they could have nicked a draw. But for Barcelona, they just showed the quality of winners. They keep doing the same things. They managed the game exceptionally well for a young team. When it got to 7 minutes and it was 1 goal in it, I think they got 15 fouls, made a sub. They must have eaten up 5 minutes of clock. Really, really impressive. And again, we have to say it. We give him stick, but Marcus Rashford delivered today. He was excellent today, and it's great to see him smiling. He's just down below us, absolutely smiling, gritty from ear to ear. Long may that continue, not only for him, but for England.
I mean, building up to this game, we talked about rolling back the years with Faustina Asprilla, but it did feel like Marcus Rashford rolled back the years with that performance as he picks up the Player of the Match award.
Yes, it did. Again, is it a complete 90? I'd probably argue not, but you don't need to. When you've got, as a forward player, if we could have the impact on the game, he had 2 massive chances, a header and a shot. Both of them went in. The shot was unbelievable. One of the best goals I've seen live. He's getting pushed off balance as well from Tonali. Hits a wonderful shot across his body, inside the bar and in. But again, I go back to it, just seeing him smile. How many interviews have we seen at Man United where he just looks like he's carrying the weight of the world? Again, not to make it about Man United, but for here at Barcelona, it's a foundationally set. Come here, work hard, deliver. We expect to win. And I think Marcus Rashford will thrive in that. And I hope it does long term. But I do believe once Lamine Yamal comes out, he's going to have to get used to coming off the bench and adding that type of quality all the time, because Lamine Yamal is just a special footballer.
And I know obviously he's not playing in that central forward role, but we often talk about forwards, they're there to score goals, and that's what he delivered today in front of Thomas Tuchel as well. Absolutely.
Again, I think we said this on our show a couple of weeks back. For me, he's on the plane already. He's already going.
Why?
Because Tuchel loves him. What he offers is the pace, the power. Do I think he deserves it? On tonight's showing, absolutely. Over the course of the last year, definitely not. But the manager has been brought in to do a job, and when you get these performances from Marcus Rashford, we only need one of these in a late stage game, a quarterfinals, a semi-finals, hopefully a final, and no one will care how he's played for the last year. I just hope for him, being in this environment, with this type of people, with this type of manager, with the demand, with the expectation, it takes him to the level we knew he could do.
And away from England and the spotlight that's been on him over here, really.
No, because there's got to be much more spotlight in Barcelona.
But maybe different, though. Maybe slightly
it's
different.
More intense out there. Just ask Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
It's intense out there. But my point is, he's not the star player. They're looking at Lamine Yamal, they're looking at Rafinha, they're looking at the homegrown players.
Yeah.
It gives him an opportunity to shine in that environment, but also because they've all came through there and a lot of the players are homegrown, they're not going to allow him to get away with things he could get away with at Man United. And I've always said this, it's not Marcus's fault that he was allowed to get away with it. It's structurally at Man United what he was allowed to get away with, and in that he was rewarded for being mediocre. And now we're hopefully going to see the best of him. And that, if that happens, I will be the first one on air, on radio, on newspaper, on Instagram if I have to say I was wrong. And I'm happy to do that. Only if he keeps performing like he did today.
Well, it's time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The UK's #1 football experience.
Kick off live on Talksport.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Well, Troy, you've got to deliver now. Who's your standout performer?
It's not going to be Marcus Rashford.
Okay, I thought that was going to be the one. Okay.
It's going to be Pedri.
Okay.
When you watch a game of football and you see a young man, over 200 games, I think Jim said he's played already for Barcelona. And then sometimes you watch players and they just rise above everybody else. He never gave the ball away, demanded the ball in every tight area. You name it. I don't remember him giving the ball away. I'm just looking at Jim. Did he give the ball away, Jim?
I'm just looking at the stats. So pass accuracy was only 91%. I would have thought it was
terrible.
Even higher than that. 113 touches. He won 10 of his 13 ground duels, but he is just, that doesn't begin to tell the story, does it? It was his composure. He could receive the ball under duress, players around him, and he would make something happen. He was, the ones that he's been marked down on there would be almost impossible situations that he was played in. He just exuded quality. A brilliant performance.
Yeah, and I've played against some exceptional players in my time. And when you play against like Kevin De Bruyne at his best, Yaya Toure, David Silva, Ozil, and you just go, how did he get out of there? I did that watching today. Like there were certain moments he's just picking the ball up. He's excellent. I want to give Marcus an honourable mention. The 2 moments of quality were great. But again, if you're looking at it as a whole performance, he did have a couple of moments in the first half where we saw the ugly, but we saw the quality as well. But for me, Pedri just rose himself above everybody else by 5 or 10%, and that's why, for me, he's man of the match.
All right, that was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.